A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio. A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
The Johnson's Wax Program with Fibber, McGee, and Molly. The makers of Johnson's Wax products for home and industry present Fibber, McGee, and Molly with Bill Thompson, Gail Gordon, Arthur Q. Bryan, and me, Harlow Wilcox. The script is by Don Quinn and Phil Leslie. Music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. Not long ago, I described a floor that had been polished with Johnson's self-polishing glow coat as having a happy shine. A friend of mine questioned the phrase, saying floors are neither happy nor sad, and therefore the phrase wasn't a good one. Well, I wonder. Think of it in terms of how the lady of the house feels. There was a time when tiresome scrubbing dulled linoleum, and no one was happy about it, least of all the person who did the work. Not so with Johnson's self-polishing glow coat. No, indeed. You just apply and let dry. There's no rubbing or buffing, no hard work at all. You'll be happy just looking at the bright, warm luster Johnson's glow coat will quickly and easily give your linoleum and other floors. That shining, glossy coat will protect them, make them last years longer. And you'll be happy at how easy they are to keep clean and lovely. I really believe the phrase happy shine is one you'll use after you use Johnson's self-polishing glow coat to bring out the beauty of your home.
Look on the bright side, shine up the right side, bring out the beauty of the home.
Mrs. Molly McGee of 79 Wistful Vista has an aunt who is richer than a double chocolate malted, but about as open-handed as if she were carrying a pint of loose diamonds. However, this Christmas she really loosened up to the extent of, well, listen to Fibber, McGee, and Molly.
Ah, good old Aunt Sarah. Bless her steel-plated old heart. Imagine her doing a thing like this for us.
Well, I always told you Aunt Sarah's heart was in the right place, McGee.
A thing being in the right place ain't necessarily sometimes always too good, Tootsie. I walked into a bear trap once that was in exactly the right place to catch a bear. But as I often say, life is like a jar of peanut butter.
Why?
I don't know. I'm no philosopher.
Well, anyway, I think it was pretty sweet of Aunt Sarah to send us each a $10 gift certificate on the Bonton department store. Pretty thoughtful.
Yeah, I put more thought than that into scratching my elbow. However, I'll admit old Sarah Driscoll has softened up a little. She thinks more of a buck than a game warden in April. Hey, what you going to do with yours?
I'm going to save it till I really want something. How about you?
I'm going to go down to the Bonton and blow my $10 on the silliest, foolishest, uselessest gimmick I can find in the joint.
I see. When does this shopping expedition get underway?
Right now. I had to go out anyway. Might as well drop in on the Bonton at the same time.
I know. You forgot to mail the last of our Christmas cards.
No, those are all took care of. I mailed the last of the cards to the people we forgot that thought of us at the last minute and sent us cards too late for us to send them Christmas cards. For Christmas, yesterday.
Would you mind running over that again with a little more punctuation?
I mailed the last of the cards.
Tell me later. No, forget the whole thing. Come in.
Well, my gosh, if it ain't the weather, man. Hi, Foggy.
Hello, Mr. Williams. Do come in.
Thank you, Mrs. McGee. Hello, McGee. Did I, by any chance, leave my overshoes here yesterday?
No, you didn't, Foggy. I had to go over on your back porch and get them. Here they are.
Oh, thank you. Our forecasts indicate bad weather coming.
Oh, by the way, Mr. Williams, does your office send up those weather balloons with all the instruments strapped onto them?
Oh, yes. Yes, every morning. As a matter of fact, I was a pioneer in weather ballooning. I sent up the first balloon equipped with weather instruments and shortwave radio.
Yeah?
I stood on the ground and listened to the results with headphones. It was amazing.
My gosh, I'll bet it was, Foggy. What'd you hear?
13 minutes of Ma Perkins and a few bars of Carmen Lombardo.
Well, I don't want to ask a government official to betray any information, Mr. Williams, but do you think we'll have an early spring?
No, Mrs. McGee. I think this will be a long, hard winter.
Except from instruments?
That prediction is a result of my observations of nature, McGee.
Oh?
I have noticed that when we have a long, hard winter, the rabbit's fur is heavier, the bark on the hickory tree is thicker, and you wait longer for a streetcar.
But why do you think this will be a long, hard winter?
My wife's brother. Every fall until now, he's come to visit us with 2 extra shirts and a pocket comb. This time he brought a trunk, a portable phonograph, and the first lesson of a correspondence course. Yes, it looks like a long, hard winter. Well, good day. Probably.
We had to go home and feed his groundhog. Hey, you going down to the bonton with me?
Yes, I guess I will,
Yeah?
McGee. Although I don't know why you have to spend your gift certificate so quickly.
Well, I'm scared Aunt Sarah will reconsider and stop payment on it. And this is the first year she hasn't sent me them corny wool socks that she knits. You know, them green and orange ones that never fit.
Oh, I wouldn't say never, McGee. That isn't fair to Aunt Sarah.
When did any sock she ever knitted for me ever fitted?
I can tell you exactly. Remember the green one she sent in 1939 and the orange one she sent in 1945?
What that got to do with the fit?
Well, the left hand one of the green pair and the right hand one of the orange pair fit you perfectly.
In 16 years, she sent me one pair that fit. One green sock and one orange. Gosh, pull up my pants and I look like a traffic signal. Well, sir, this year, by George, I'm going to buy something so doggone frivolous.
Come in.
Oh, hi, old-timer.
Hello there, Mr. Old-Timer.
Hello there, kids. Hey, you know something? Tomorrow night's New Year's Eve.
Huh?
You kids gonna go out and scatter around any?
Old-timer, I'll tell you how it is with us on New Year's Eve. We gave up fighting our way through a bunch of yokels with more dollars than cents to pay $40 to sit at the table the size of a milking stool next to the kitchen door of a mink-lined mess hall.
Where at midnight you put on paper caps and link arms with a bunch of people you wouldn't associate with in the daytime and sing "Should Old Acquaintance Be Forgotten." In that case, they certainly should.
And everybody yells Happy New Year with tears running down into their ginger ale. And by that time, you've got a headache, and your wife has lost her gloves, and the waiter brings you a check he's been carrying around for 6 weeks waiting for some pigeon like you.
Then you wait 30 minutes for the check room girl to find your coat that's hanging in plain sight, but she's angry because you only tipped her $1 and go outside to find that the parking lot boys have been listening to your car radio and your battery's dead, and so is 1947, and so are you, so...
We're staying home.
Well... Everybody to his own taste, Johnny. I'm going to have my fun while I'm still too old to have any regrets. I like the excitement of New Year's Eve. Crowds yelling, women crying, fenders crunching, and the happy cries of the pickpockets. Yes, sir, I'm going to swing it this year.
Good for you.
Oh, by the way, Johnny, can I borrow the loan of your watch? It's for a party, New Year's Eve.
His watch.
Yes, it's a watch party. I'm going to watch the old year sneak out like it was ashamed of itself, like it ought to be, and the new year creep in like it was scared to death, and you can't blame it. Good old 1947, the year of the 3 trains.
What 3 trains?
The Freedom Train, the Friendship Train, and 6 inches more in the gal skirts than Ada had 'em.
You don't care for the new look, Mr. Oldtimer?
Oh, what's new about it, daughter? It's old stuff to me. In my time, I've seen calves appear and disappear like a herd of cattle passing a picket fence.
Personally, them new long skirts kind of embarrass me. Looks like they're losing them. Whenever I meet a woman with her skirt down to her ankles, I expect her to scream, whoop, and grab her skirt and duck for a doorway.
That is pretty good, Johnny, but that ain't the way I heard it. The way I heard it, one feller says to t'other feller, say, he says. These new skirts politics are going to make it tough for a young feller to pick a girl, ain't they? How so, says t'other feller. Well, says the first feller, up to now, if a boy wanted to know if his girl was not neat, he just had to look. Now he's got to listen. Happy New Year!
Billy Mills and the orchestra, and there'll be some changes made.
McGee.
Yeah.
You'll certainly find something here for your gift certificate that you've got no earthly use for. I'm sure you don't want to spend it wisely.
No, I'm going to get something foolish and extravagant if it takes me all day. I'm going to go through this store like a snapshot of Gregory Peck through a girl's dormitory. Now, let me see.
Howdy, folks. Is there something I can do for you?
Oh, thank you very much. Are you a clerk?
Yes, ma'am. Here at the store. At home, I'm a floor walker. Wife's got a new baby.
Well, here's our problem, Dad. You see, I got a gift certificate for $10. Hey, ain't you the guy that used to deliver our groceries?
Yes, sir. I quit the grocery business last week.
Why, if it's any of our business, which it isn't, so don't tell us if you want to be rude.
Well, you see, my brother took cold and it turned into pneumonia, and they took him to hospital.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, for 2 weeks there, he just kind of hovered between Life and Saturday Evening Post. And then they brought him home.
And you quit the grocery so you could stay home and look after him, eh?
No, that was in Oregon, 1936.
1936? My goodness, what's your brother getting sick in 1936 got to do with your quitting the grocery store last week?
Well, ma'am, the way I look at it, when a fellow wants to quit a job, one excuse is as good as another. Or there's something I can show you folks?
No, we're just prowling around, Dad. Got a $10 gift certificate to spend when I find something I don't particularly need.
Well, we got 8 floors full of stuff we don't need. I'll be glad to sell you any part of it. Just call me if you...
Attention, please. Calling Will. Will, where are you? Oh, Will.
What on earth was that?
Oh, that's our will call department, Miss McGee. But as I was saying, if there's anything I can do, just look me up. I'll be around.
Oh, McGee, look.
Huh?
The new electric stove with a little window in the oven so you can peek in and see what's cooking. Isn't that sweet?
What's new about that? We got a glass window on our oven at home.
Yeah, but this one has a little steel Venetian blind on the inside. What do you suppose that's for?
I don't know. I suppose that's for bashful women that want to cook a rump roast or something. Hey, let's go over here in the sporting goods section. I might go for a new fly rod, you know what?
A new fly rod?
Yep.
I don't know why you should want a fly rod. You can't even hit them with a folded newspaper. Doesn't seem to be many clerks around here, does there?
No.
Or customers either.
No, not much like the week before Christmas. Boy, the pushing around I took in here then. If I could have inhaled through my feet, I could have vacuumed the whole store. You see anything in here for $10?
No, I don't. Oh, yes, there's an archery set. Exactly $10.
No archery for me, kiddo. I've been scared of bows and arrows since I was 13 years old.
Why?
Us kids were playing William Tell, and I put an apple on another kid's head. You remember a tow-headed kid in Peoria named Hardy? Harry Hardy?
Oh, of course I do.
Sure.
You boys used to call him Foolhardy.
Foolhardy. Yeah, that's the guy. Anyway, I put an apple on his head, walked back 40 paces, turned around, and strung my bow. Foolhardy stood there like a rock. He had a lot of faith in my marksmanship.
Yeah, you had a very accurate nickname, too. So what happened?
I whet my finger and held it up to test the wind. Then I notches an arrow, draws it back to the hilt, and whang!
You believe it. Then what did you do?
Well, hello there, folks. Hello, Molly. Hi, pal.
Hey, where'd you pop up from, Omaha?
Yes, we didn't see you around here a minute ago, Mr. Wilcox.
No, I was behind the counter, down on the floor on my hands and knees. Hey, have you noticed the linoleum floor in here?
Well, not particularly, Mr. Wilcox, but it's very handsome now that you mention it. New, is it?
New. This linoleum is 6 years old.
6 years?
Imagine it looking as good as this after being tramped on by all those Christmas shoppers this year and other years, tracking in dust and slush and rain and dirt.
I wonder how they keep it looking so bright and gleaming. Said little Fibber, the fun-loving McGee, his bright blue eyes twinkling with mischief as he sneaked a sly look at his contract.
I'll bet every good housekeeper knows, Molly. Johnson's self-polishing glow coat. The linoleum protection that makes dust and dirt so easy to wipe up, that's so easy to apply, and so quick to dry to a mirror-like polish. Why, if Johnson's glow coat can give even a busy store such an air of quiet quality, don't you suppose that when you...
Look, Waxy.
Yes, pal?
Far be it from me to get between a man's bread and a man's butter, but enough is enough.
Okay. Say, how'd you kids make out for Christmas?
Oh, we had a wonderful Christmas, Mr. Wilcox.
Yeah. Hey, what a surprise we got from Molly's Aunt Sarah.
You've heard us speak of my Aunt Sarah Driscoll, Mr. Wilcox?
Yeah.
Is she the one that's so...
You said it. That babe is so tight-fisted, her manicurist has to use a fluoroscope.
But not this year. She sent us each a $10 gift certificate on the Bonton, Mr. Wilcox, and I'm saving mine.
Not mine. I'm shooting the wad as of today before she asks for it back and sends me some more of them corny socks.
Oh, is she the one who knits those horrible wool socks, pal?
That's Aunt Sarah, Mr. Wilcox, the very one.
You've seen them things, Judy.
Oh, yeah.
In the first place, they don't fit, and in the second place, the colors are awful.
They do look a bit like a prairie fire as seen through the bottom of an iodine bottle.
So I'm going to blow my $10 certificate before the old moose changes her mind. Got any ideas of what I can get for a sawbuck, Omaha?
Well, I'd suggest you go into the annex, pal. That's 3 aisles over and to the left. I saw a sign in there that said, "This department closing out. Buy now. Dirt cheap."
Oh, wonderful. What are they selling?
Dirt. Well, Happy New Year, folks. See you around.
Same to you. Now, let me see, Molly. I'd like to get a
Just a
little
minute, McGee. You were telling me about when you were 13 and put an apple on little Foolhardy's head and took your bow and arrow.
Attention, please. Will the head shipping clerk please report to the loading platform? 3 of our drivers are loaded. Thank you.
Well, this ain't getting my $10 gift certificate spent. Let's go over into the hardware department, and I'll see if I
Well,
can...
you see anything you like, Mr. McGee? We got some awful fine tools here.
Huh?
Now, here's a socket wrench in case any of your sockets get loose.
No, thanks. Is this your department, too, Bud? I thought you were up in front of the store.
Well, kind of short on help today, seems like. Short on customers, too. Say, I got something over in the sporting goods that might interest you, Mr. McGee. Got a good price on it, too.
Okay, what is it? I might take it off your hands.
Well, it's one of them collapsible 16-man rubber life rafts, you know. Just a thing for duck hunt with a lot.
No,
Huh?
thank you. We have one.
Yeah. Yeah, I got one, Bud.
Oh.
Picked it up at the surplus store. Although it would be handy to have a spare one.
No,
in case of a blowout.
McGee. We'll just look around some more, sir. We'll call you if we find anything we want.
Well, I'm always glad to help. Howdy, Dr. Gamble. Something I can do for you?
No, thanks, Carl. I'm just cutting through to the office.
Oh, hello, Doctor.
Well, hiya, Molly. Where's it? Oh, there you are, Beetlepuss. Haven't seen you since Christmas.
Yes, it's been a wonderful week for us, too, Baggy. Let's have more weeks like it this coming year, shall we?
Oh, McGee, don't talk to the doctor like that.
Well...
Did you have a nice Christmas, Doctor?
Wonderful, Molly. And before I forget it, and I'd like to forget it as soon as possible, I want to thank little Droop Snoot here for his lovely Christmas necktie. Thanks for the Christmas necktie, Droop Snoot.
That's okay, Bait Bucket.
It was a necktie, wasn't it? That's how they diagnosed it at the men's counter here.
Well, certainly it's a necktie, you big bag of duffel. What'd you think it was?
We had quite an interesting discussion about that, my boy. My housekeeper, who spent some time in the Orient, thought it was the sash off an East Mongolian witch doctor's ceremonial robes. But I thought it looked more like the belly band off a Brazilian llama buster's Sunday saddle.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't know what it was right away, Doctor. You sent McGee one just like it last Christmas.
Just like it. He sent me the same one last Christmas. And he knows it, too.
Oh, no, you didn't send the same necktie back to him, did you?
Certainly. He's not going to leave me stuck with a monstrosity like that.
Well, you can't say I didn't try, my boy. And you can't say I won't try again next year, too. Say, what brings you down here today, Molly? You're not still Christmas shopping, are you?
Well, I guess you might call it that, Doctor. Aunt Sarah sent McGee a gift certificate this year, and he's down here trying to spend it.
I'm looking for something I've always wanted and couldn't afford, Doc. Something unnecessary. Just some silly, useless, expensive luxury.
Oh, well, you'll find it all right. Molly's had a thing like that for years.
She has?
I have?
What?
You. Happy New Year, kid.
King's Men, and what are you doing New Year's Eve?
When the bells ring out and the horns all blow and the couples we know are fondly kissing, will I be with you? Will you be with me? Or will I be among the missing? Much too late for me to say, but I thought I'd ask you anyway. What are you doing New Year's Eve? Wonder whose arms will hold you good and tight when it's 12 o'clock tomorrow night, welcoming in the New Year's Eve. Maybe I'm crazy to suppose I'd ever be the one you chose out of the 1,000 invitations you received. Just in case I stand a little chance, here comes a question slightly in advance. What are you doing New Year's? What are you doing New Year's Eve? Maybe I'm crazy to suppose I'd ever be the one you chose out of the 1,000 invitations you received. But I want to be there with you to ring out the old and ring in the new. The happiest New Year I could ever believe. To be with you New Year's Eve.
For a great big department store like this, Molly, they haven't got anything that I really want for my gift certificate.
Well, don't get discouraged, dearie.
No.
We still have 2 more floors left to look on.
Yeah.
This is only the 6th floor, you know.
Yeah. Doggone it, that plastic riveter's helmet with the extra sections that bolt on to cover knots on your head would have been swell if it had just been...
Oh, McGee, look who's here. Mr. Wimple.
Oh, hi, Wimp.
Hello, folks. Are you exchanging something, too?
No, just shopping around, Mr. Wimple. You down here to exchange some presents?
No, but Sweetie Face is. Sweetie Face, that's my big old wife.
Yeah.
She came down to exchange a whole lot of little bitty gifts that she can't use for one big gift that she can use.
Mm-hmm. That's a woman for you. Exchanging all her presents, is she?
No, she's exchanging all my presents, Mr. McGee.
Oh.
She told me to wait here and not dare leave till she got back, and then she went upstairs to the exchange desk.
Waiting for people gets awfully tiresome, doesn't it?
Oh, it certainly does. And I'm getting pretty annoyed with her, too, believe me. If she doesn't show up in exactly 5 minutes, I'm going home without her. I'll show her.
That's the stuff, Wimp. Good for you. How long have you been waiting?
Since Friday morning.
Well, then I think giving her another 5 minutes is completely fair, Mr. Wimple.
Yeah, you can afford to be generous, Wimp. Remember, women are the weaker sex.
How was that again, Mr. McGee?
He just said that women are the weaker sex, Mr. Wimple.
Oh, yes. One thing I like about Mr. McGee, he's always joking.
Taking your Christmas tree down yet, Wimp?
No, we always burn ours in the fireplace on New Year's Eve, Mr. McGee.
Oh.
I cut the tree up into short pieces and build a fire, and at 12 o'clock they light it, and all of Sweetie Face's relatives sit around the fire and drink a toast to the new year and have a gay time.
Her relatives do. Where are you all this time, Wimp?
Oh, I peeked down at them through the banisters in my Dr. Denton pajamas.
You mean they don't even let you join in the festivities?
No.
By George, that's an outrage.
Oh, no, it isn't, Mr. McGee. I have more fun than any of them. In 9 years, they've never discovered who loosens the corks in the champagne 2 days before, and who clogs up the chimney so everybody gets to coughing, and who puts all the 45 caliber cartridges into the fireplace under the logs.
My gosh, Wimp, you're liable to knock off the whole mob some night.
Yes. What a happy new year that will be. Well, goodbye, folks.
Goodbye.
Oh, hey, Molly, look. Oh, boy, are these beautiful. And get a load of the price. 5 pairs for $10.
But, sweetheart, those are wool socks. I thought you were tired.
I haven't got any socks like these, baby. Look at those plaids. Look at that weave.
You found something you like, Mr. McGee? Finally?
Well, he seems to like these socks, although just one.
Yeah, give me 5 pair of these, Dad. And here's my gift certificate.
Well, I must say you made a wise purchase, Mr. McGee. Ordinarily, we sell them socks at $4 a pair.
Yeah, what'd I tell you, Molly? Do I know a bargain or am I a chump?
Yes.
You know, these aren't regular machine knit socks, Mr. McGee. These are special knit by hand, exclusive for the Bon Ton.
Somebody in Scotland, I suppose.
No, it's an old lady in Peoria. Driscoll, her name is. Sarah Driscoll.
Oh.
Yep, they say she don't have to do it for a living either.
Oh.
Say she's rolled in money. Why, you know, one of our salesmen... Well, imagine that. They walked right off without even taking her sales slip.
A year and a day from now, we'll be greeting another new year. On that day, your home can be more beautiful than it is tonight if during the year you have polished your floors, furniture, and woodwork with genuine Johnson's Wax. Regular use of Johnson's Wax brings out the beauty of your home. It's true that Johnson's Wax adds richness and warmth as well as gloss to fine things. The next 367 days will work less hardship on your floors and furniture, because if they're waxed, they're protected. Then, too, housework is easier because dust and dirt vanish from waxed surfaces with a quick wipe or a light dusting. And, speaking of making things easier, attention all snow shovelers. Snow and slush won't stick to your shovel blade if it's waxed with Johnson's Wax. Your shovel will stay light and clean without pounding or scraping. Yes, you can even make snow shoveling easier with genuine Johnson's Wax.
Molly, you didn't say a word all the way home. You tired?
No.
Feel ill?
No. I feel fine.
You ain't mad because I bought them socks?
No.
Oh, my gosh, what is the matter?
Well, something bothers me.
Huh?
Whatever happened to little fool Hardy back there in Peoria with the apple on his head? When you drew back the bowstring and boing!
The string busted, then the bell rang, and recess was over.
Oh.
Is that all?
Yes.
Okay. Good night.
Happy New Year to all of you from everybody in Racine and Wistful Vista. Good night, all.
The Kraft Foods Company presents Harold Perry as the Great Gildersleeve. Would you like something new for the new year? Well, then start the year right by getting acquainted with the latest addition to the Kraft family of fine cheese, K-Brand Natural Cheese. It's a mellow, delicious cheddar you're going to enjoy as a special treat in the coming year. Listen for more about K-Brand cheese later. Now let's see what's going on in Summerfield. As water commissioner, the Great Gildersleeve may not have been a ball of fire during the year, but on this last day of December, he's winding things up in a blaze of glory.
Bessie, you have those reports filed away?
Oh, yes, sir, Mr. Gildersleeve. And all those old letters you had in your desk, too. They took up 2 whole cabinets.
Well, we don't mind a little work, Bessie. Just so we've cleared the desk for 48.
Oh, we did. And I clearly marked both cabinets.
That's good.
Unfinished business of 1947. But last year we only had 1 cabinet full of unfinished business left over. Business is getting better, isn't it, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Well, let's hope that's the explanation, Bessie. But it's all over for this year. Now we can relax. What time is it?
Only 2 o'clock. Should I get my pad and pencil?
Bessie, it's December 31st. Doesn't that mean anything to you?
Oh, yes, sir.
What?
Gosh, I don't know. I guess you caught me in a fib, Mr. Gildersleeve.
It means it's the last day of the year, Bessie. Let's close up the office. Besides, I have some arrangements to make for New Year's Eve.
Oh, you mean all those parties, Mr. Gildersleeve? You certainly were invited to a lot of them.
Well, yes, I was.
New Year's parties are such fun. When it's 12 o'clock, you say, Happy New Year, and then kiss everybody.
Yes, you have the general idea, Bessie. Let's see, I'll stop in at Doris's at 9, Eve's at 9:30, pay a call on the Bagley sisters at 10, then be back at Doris's by 11. She invited me twice.
But you can't celebrate until midnight, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh, they all have radios, Bessie. I'll find New Year's someplace. I bet you could turn on that portable there and find they're celebrating right now in Calcutta or someplace.
Oh, Mr. Gildersleeve, do you really think so?
I was only making a point, Bessie. The time changes around the world. Now run on home and have a Happy New Year. The office is closed.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Gildersleeve, you've been very nice to me this year.
And you've been a pretty good secretary.
I have, Mr. Gildersleeve. Oh, Mr. Gildersleeve.
No, Bessie.
Happy New Year.
Bessie.
Happy New Year.
Bessie, it's still early.
It's Happy New Year in Calcutta. You said so.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
And the radio wasn't even on. Well, hello, Peavy.
Hello, Mr. Gildersleeve. What can I do for you this afternoon?
Well, you might make me a little sandwich, Peavy. Just kind of tide me over. And a cup of coffee first, hot.
One hot cup of coffee coming up. Been working, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Yeah. Bessie and I just cleaned up a little unfinished business of 1947.
So I see. Care for a facial tissue to clean up a little more?
Huh? Oh, thanks, Peavy. Bessie was celebrating New Year's Eve. Said I was a good employer to her all year, and, well, what's wrong with a little token of affection on New Year's? Besides, she kissed me.
Good for Bessie. I don't imagine many women could have gotten away with it.
Well, I won't have any trouble tonight, Peavy. I'm going to 3 parties.
3 parties?
You bet. I'm going to try and kiss every pretty girl in town.
Mr. Gildersleeve, you don't suppose you're taking this atom bomb talk too seriously, do you?
It's New Year's Eve, Peavy. Time to ring out the old and ring in the new. How about you? You're not going to work tonight, are you?
Oh, no, Mr. Gildersleeve. Mrs. Peavy likes to spend New Year's Eve at home. What kind of sandwich was that?
Make it a cheese on rye.
KIBM Natural on rye coming up.
Good coffee this is, Peavy.
Thank you. Would you care for a little sliver of ham on the sandwich also?
Well, all right.
New Year's Eve is quite an occasion with Mrs. Peavy. She always prepares something special for dinner and mayonnaise.
Yeah, just a dab.
Then we do the dishes and go into the living room and talk about things. Mrs. Peavy always likes to talk about things on New Year's Eve. Let us?
Well, yes.
Long toward 10 o'clock, we may play a game of cribbage. That kills an hour. I think I'll slip in a little slice of ox tongue, if you don't mind.
Easy, Peavy.
And then around 11 o'clock, we get out the horns and wait.
Well, that sounds like a good way for you to greet the new year.
I guess so, Mr. Gildersleeve. At least by 12 o'clock, I'm awfully glad to see it come.
Yes, but how about the sandwich?
Oh, you care for this little pickle nub in it, too?
Yeah, Peavy, how much is all this going to cost?
Oh, no extra charge to you, Mr. Gildersleeve. At the end of the year, I have unfinished business to clean up back here, too.
What?
How about a little turkey wing?
Yeah, no, thanks, Peavy. Just give me the cheese that I ordered in the beginning.
Just as you say, Mr. Gildersleeve. I never will get rid of this darn stuff. There you are. Cheese on rye.
Thanks, Peavy.
Hi, Commish. Pete, what's up?
Well, hello, Floyd.
Hi, Floyd. I was just going to come over and pay you a visit. Get shaved and trimmed up for tonight.
Okay, I'm going back to the shop soon to make a purchase off the peeve. Guess I'd be going out among them tonight, too, if it wasn't for Lovey in bed with the cold.
Well, not too bad, Floyd.
Yeah, so I think I better stay home and look after her. She thinks so, too.
Well, I'll be making the rounds tonight. Private parties.
Yeah, it's a good way to save money. But be careful, Commish. They say more colds are caught from exposure to mistletoe than from wet feet.
Quite a lot of flu around, too.
Yeah, don't worry about me. You two grandmothers stay home with the fire. I'll have my fun.
Yeah, you lucky stiff. Give me a paper hat for Lovey, Peeve. One she won't knock off in bed.
Very well, Floyd. And something for the cold?
Got an old Indian remedy, Peeve. 1 hot teaspoon to the patient, every 2 to the doctor, and Happy New Year to everybody. How much is this hat?
Well, all hats are a quarter, plus an extra penny.
Oh? Well, I'll take this one with the extra feather. There you are. Hey, the judge was in. Mentioned something about getting together at the Jolly Boys tonight, but I told him to count me out. You fellas, too, huh?
The Jolly Boys? That would be Judge Hooker's idea. What a dull place to spend New Year's Eve.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I can think of duller places. And perhaps the judge doesn't have any other place to go.
Yeah, he's kind of alone in the world at that. I'd ask him over to our house, but I can't with Lovey on the blink.
Well, he could come over and celebrate with Mrs. Peavy and me. Of course, I'd have to put out some feelers first.
Hey. Why don't you take him around with you tonight, Commish?
Floyd!
He don't have a happy home to stick to like the Peeve and me. Just a housekeeper in 4 walls.
Well, that's his concern.
Well, you wouldn't want to be all alone on New Year's Eve, would you?
Well, now, Floyd,
He's really very fond of you, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Yeah, you've known him longer than any of us.
It's up to the judge to get invited to his own parties. He has to make his little contacts throughout the year like I do.
Okay, Commissioner. That's the way you feel about it. On New Year's Eve. Well, I guess I'll get back to the shop.
I'll be right over for that shave, Floyd.
I may be busy.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, Peavy.
Happy New Year, Floyd.
Happy New Year, Floyd. Floyd, Happy New Year. Look, fellas, I'm not responsible for Hooker.
The judge is a jolly boy, ain't he?
But
all for one, one for all. Like the song goes, should old acquaintance be forgot.
All right, Floyd, all right. I'll take him along with me. Ye God.
That's the spirit, Commish. Happy New Year.
It's a very nice thing you're doing, Mr. Gildersleeve. Should old acquaintance...
All right, Peavy, Happy New Year. Wonder where I'll find the old goat. A lot of fun I'll have with Hooker tagging along. The louder the party gets, the louder he talks. Say, there's Chief Gates. Maybe he's on duty tonight, and the judge can go down and play pinochle with him at the police station. Chief, wait!
Well, Mr. Gildersleeve, Happy New Year.
Yeah, thank you. Same to you, Chief. Have you heard about Judge Hooker?
No. What happened?
Well, nothing, but he's a fine fellow, Hooker. Fella, jolly boy and all.
Of course. I've always been very fond of the judge.
Chief, the old fellow was a little at loose ends this evening. And it being New Year's Eve and all...
Oh, that's too bad. Come to think of it, the judge and I haven't played pinochle together for quite some time.
Yeah.
And I'd ask him over tonight, but I always drive over to Salinas on New Year's Eve to see my mother.
Well, if you don't have time for a fellow jolly boy...
But, Commissioner, I haven't missed a New Year's Eve with my mother in 20 years.
That's all right. It's all right. I'll take him with me. Looks as though I'm stuck with the old goat. Well, I'll tell him to get his glad rags out, and maybe I can ditch him before the evening's over.
His Honor isn't home.
His Honor? Oh, you mean the judge?
Who'd you think I meant?
Well, Mrs. Fogel, I'm Mr. Gildersleeve. Remember?
Yes, I remember.
Well, when do you expect the old His Honor?
He went walking in the park about an hour ago.
Walking in the park?
Don't you hear good?
Yes, What a housekeeper. No wonder Hooker's sad about staying home tonight. Well, I'm not going to spend all afternoon looking for him. Driven through the park twice. There he is. Walking with his back to the wind. Feeling sorry for himself. Horace! Horace!
Well, Gildy, what brings you out in the park?
Get in, Hooker, before you freeze.
It is getting chilly, but I think I'll take one more turn around square.
Get in, Hooker. You're too old to be romping around in the snow.
I wasn't romping. I was thinking.
Well, close the door and think inside. And have a tissue in the glove compartment.
I have a handkerchief, thank you.
Oh, brother. I've been looking all over for you, Horace. I wanted to extend a little invitation to you.
Well, as I say, I've been out thinking about the future.
Oh? What about the future?
That's just what I ask myself. I ask myself, what about the future?
What a silly thing, Judge. Out in the cold park thinking. Who do you think you are, Bernard Baruch?
Well, it's very well for you to say, Gildy. You have a warm family circle to talk things out with this evening. And I must say I envy you. That's the real way to spend New Year's Eve.
Well...
You see, I've been thinking about you too, Gildy.
You have?
Yes. And those two sweet children. How you must look forward to the joy of each New Year's Eve. Marjorie curled at your feet and little Leroy in your lap.
Yeah, but, Judge, when did you see Leroy last?
Oh, that's right. I was carried back, I guess, to the time when, as probate judge, I turned those little children over to you. My, but you were proud.
Well, yes, I was.
And although you've been fat-headed and stubborn at times, and a little negligent, I've never regretted doing it.
Thanks, Judge.
With each passing year, what a thrill it must be for you, a man whose life was once empty, like mine is, to hear them recite their accomplishments and then plan the course of the future and welcome the new year all together. One family, all for one and one for all. Now then, what is it you wanted to ask me, Gildy?
Well, Floyd and Peavy told me you were at loose ends tonight, and I was wondering...
Yeah?
If you'd care to spend New Year's Eve with me.
Where, Gildy? At home with you and the children?
At home? Well, yes. In the bosom of my little family.
Gildy, old friend, I'd be honored and delighted.
I was afraid you would, you old goat.
What?
Nothing, Horace. Said you got a beautiful coat. Well, at least I kissed Bessie Happy New Year way back in Calcutta.
It won't be long before horns will blow, bells will ring, and folks will gather round to sing out Auld Lang Syne. Yes, in just a few hours, folks in big towns and little towns will welcome a bright and shining new year. As the last of the bells ring out, every hostess' thoughts will swing quickly from good wishes for the new year to the kitchen and the midnight lunch. If you've guests tonight, I hope you've included plenty of K-brand natural cheese in your late lunch. K-brand is Kraft's modern cheese masterpiece, a delicious natural cheddar with a mellow, rich flavor, the tender texture that real cheese experts love. But this natural cheddar is made of pasteurized milk.
You mean a natural cheese made of pasteurized milk?
K-brand natural is. And furthermore, K-brand cheese has no rind because it ages right in its own spick-and-span wrapper.
Then all of K-brand cheddar can be used?
That's right. Every mellow bit of this natural cheese can be used for hearty sandwiches, for snacks, with pie. If you haven't already tried K-brand natural, you're in for a pleasant surprise in 48. The next time you shop, have your dealer cut you a portion from the big wrapped bar with the words K-brand natural marked down the top and sides. But get a good big portion, for your family's going to have a new cheese favorite in 48. K-brand, the natural cheddar made of pasteurized milk. Now let's get back to the Great Gildersleeve. He's generously given up invitations to spend New Year's Eve with his favorite girlfriends in order to cheer the lonely life of his old friend Judge Hooker, and the sacrifice has brought new gladness to his heart.
Ah, beautiful snowfall. When it's springtime in the Rockies, I'll be coming back to... Uh-oh. There's that garden hose I forgot to put away last fall. Better disconnect it and store it right now. Might freeze again tonight. Already frozen. Oh, well, I'll be the first man on the block to have my garden hose out next spring. There's Leroy going around the house. Let me get some of this nice, soft snow. I'll sneak up behind him and let him have it. Captain Timothy Gildersleeve of the Royal Mounted. Always gets his man. I'll just peek around the corner. Where'd that kid go?
Hey, look out behind you!
Huh? Oh! Leroy!
Didn't hurt much, did it, Unc?
What's the idea, sneaking up on me from behind? Put down those snowballs. Suppose you've broken something. My watch.
You don't carry it in your hip pocket, do you, Unc?
Put down those snowballs.
Okay, you put down yours.
You march in the house, young man, and take that sled off the steps.
Oh, for corn's sake.
Leroy, look out behind you.
Huh?
What you did. You just wait till I tell Mr. Gildersleeve.
He knows it.
Hello, Bertie.
Oh, I didn't see you, Mr. Gildersleeve.
I'll have it fixed first thing after New Year's, Bertie. Just pull the shade down for now. Leroy stuffed some paper in that window.
I didn't make it.
Well, you were the one who ducked. Paper will keep out the wind and the snow. We'll all be cozy here in the living room tonight.
Who'll be cozy? I thought we were all stepping out tonight, New Year's Eve.
No, Bertie. We'll greet the new year right here at home. I've invited Judge Hooker over for dinner.
The judge? Okay.
So put the little pot in the big pot. Company.
Okay, Mr. Gildersleeve. Then I better get going. Big night tonight.
Oh, Bertie, will you please press this blouse for me? I want to wear it tonight. Hello, Uncle Mort.
Hello, my dear.
Okay, Miss Margie, but I got things to do.
The judge likes your cinnamon rolls, Bertie, if they aren't too much trouble.
Okay.
Do the blouse first, please, Bertie.
Okay.
Don't forget to bake the rolls, Bertie.
Okay. Judge coming over, cook the dinner, press the blouse, bake the rolls, and me with a coal and a big party to go to. What we need around here is a 2-day New Year's Eve.
What's this about dinner, Uncle?
I've invited the judge over, Marjorie, to spend a quiet evening with us.
Quiet? Who wants to be quiet on New Year's? I'm going out. Thought you were going out, too.
Yeah, Unc, you always whoop it up on New Year's Eve.
Never mind. I was going out, but the holiday season is the time to be unselfish and think about others.
Isn't that what we did when we gave away all those good presents?
Yeah. This is different, young man. This is New Year's, and Judge Hooker is all alone in the world.
Is that any reason for sitting up with him all night?
Now, Marjorie, if you could have seen him this afternoon, wandering through the park in the snow, a lonely, forgotten old man, wearing a cape, you wouldn't begrudge him a few happy hours with us. I've given up a pleasant evening myself. By George, we'll make the sacrifice.
Can I sit up and see the old year out, Unc?
Well, this is a special occasion. Why not? More the merrier.
Oh, boy. Unky, this isn't fair. I wanted to have fun tonight.
Marge, we will all start the new year right by doing as I say.
But, Uncle Mort, I have a date. The whole gang is going over to Francie.
Well, stay with us till the judge falls asleep, my dear, and then you can leave. Yes, sir, Hooker was right. Nothing like a happy new year in the bosom of the little family. Leroy, open the door a little bit. Getting stuffy in here.
Okay. Why not pull out the paper I stuffed in the window?
The door, Leroy. You comfortable, Judge?
Perfectly, Gildy. This is an extremely joyous occasion to me. I said it before, and I'll say it again.
Yes.
That was a most excellent dinner Bertie prepared. I must say I envy you in more ways than one, Gildy. You're lucky having a cook like Bertie.
Well, you got Mrs. Fogel.
Yes, I have. Marjorie, you're unusually quiet this evening.
I don't mean to be, Judge. I was just thinking.
Well, there's no more fitting time for communion with oneself than at the close of a year. Not many girls your age are spending New Year's Eve in quiet reflection, I imagine.
I imagine not.
It's only 11 o'clock. Turn on the radio, Leroy. Let's hear a celebration somewhere. Huh?
Oh, boy, now we'll pep up the party a little.
I think it's a very peppery party. And as I said before...
Don't say it again, Judge. Please. Listen to the radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the biggest, loudest, zaniest New Year's celebration this city has seen in a decade. Just listen to the crowd.
Oh, boy, where is it?
As the clock struck 12, it seemed that every boy here was kissing his girl.
I wonder what Doris and Eve are doing.
What did you say, Unc?
Never mind, Leroy.
What'd you say?
Turn it off.
Oh, for corn's sake. I think I'll go upstairs and listen to my room.
Now, Leroy, we're all staying up. with the judge.
Yeah, but what's there to do?
You know, it just occurred to me, Gildy, I wish I'd thought of it before. It would have been just the thing for this evening.
Oh, what's that, Judge?
I missed a golden opportunity. Why didn't I think to bring my stereoscope with the slides of Yellowstone National Park?
Oh, those. Yeah.
Oh, brother.
The children always enjoyed them, Gildy.
Yes, well, under the circumstances, why don't we just sit and talk?
What do we talk about?
Now, Marjorie, you should be able to think of something. Why don't you open the conversation?
Me?
Yes, Marjorie. What's happening in the younger set?
Well, they're having a party right now.
Would anyone care for some hot chocolate? I just made a pot.
Yeah, a little early for that, isn't it, Bertie?
Not for me.
Yeah, we'll get to you, young man. Judge, how about you?
Not for me yet, Bertie. I'm still full from your delightful dinner. Thanks, just the same.
None for me, Bertie, thanks. Marjorie?
I may as well. But, Unky, it's getting awfully late.
Yeah, well, drink your chocolate, and then you may go. It's cold out.
I'll leave the pot here for whoever wants it. I'm off to my party. I don't mind missing some of the build-up, but I don't want to miss none of that blow-off.
Yeah. But, Bertie, what about our sandwiches?
Mr. Gildersleeve, when you open the refrigerator door at midnight, there they'll be.
Oh?
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, Bertie.
My, that chocolate smells good. I might just have some of that. Will you pour, Marjorie?
All right, Judge.
There's nothing like spending New Year's Eve in the bosom of a family, Gildy. You've no idea how glad I am that I turned down those other parties in favor of yours.
What's this, Judge? What other parties?
You know, the usual round of gay things. Doris Dalrymple's, Miss Goodwin's, Mary Terwilliger's.
What?
I even got an invitation from the Bagley sisters.
You mean you kept me home when you could have gone to all those other parties?
Yes, but New Year's Eve is the time to be close to your bosom friends. Don't you think so, old friend?
You bet, and I'm going out and say Happy New Year to some of them right now.
But, Gildy...
See you next year, bosom friend. Well, 11:45. Still time to wish Doris Dalrymple a Happy New Year. Maybe Eve, too. Hey, somebody's having a party over Floyd's barbershop. The Jolly Boys Club. Now, who'd be up there? Well, it'll only take a minute to find out. With a blue ribbons on it, it's all open to the shade. Through the fields of clover, we ride on to Dover on a golden wedding day. Well, Floyd, Chief, what goes on here?
If it isn't Commissioner
I
Gildersleeve.
missed you just in time.
Floyd, I thought Lovey was sick.
Well, I had to step out to get her some cough syrup.
I thought you Jolly Boys were all staying home tonight. You're a fine bunch of hypocrites.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
Peavy, you old rascal, how'd you get away from Mrs. Peavy?
Well, it seems Mrs. Peavy is a little behind the times.
Huh?
She thinks New Year's Eve is tomorrow night.
Oh, my goodness. How long you guys been here? Chief, you always spend New Year's with your mother in Salinas.
I do, Mr. Gildersleeve, but tonight the blizzard blocked the road. First New Year's I've missed spending with my mother in 20 years.
That's tough, Chief. Hey, Commish, come on over to the corner and have a Coke.
Coke? Well, just one.
Maybe I'll have another one with you. New Year's Eve.
Well, good evening, gentlemen.
Hey, gang, it's the judge.
Judge, you're like a bad penny. How'd you find me?
That was easy, Gildy. After I put Leroy to bed, I followed some peculiar tracks in the snow. Nobody else walks like a steamroller.
Why, you old goat.
I'm glad you left so I could. I was never so bored in all my life.
Now, see here.
All us fellas, it's New Year's Eve. We're all jolly boys.
Yeah. Hey, listen, it's midnight. Let's have a song. The old acquaintance be forgot.
Well, not a bad idea. I'm Gildy, old friend.
Great idea, Judge. Old friend.
Catch it as it comes by.
Old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind. Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of all lang syne.
Who wants to go out with girls?
Lang syne, my dear.
Tomorrow, when your hearts and doors are open wide to celebrate the new year, I hope you've planned a cheese tray for your guests. It's such a warm and friendly way to say welcome. Now, we hope you've seen to it that your cheese tray offers K-brand cheese. You see, K-brand is a natural cheddar with a mellow, rich flavor that's simply wonderful eating. And it's made from pasteurized milk. That's right, a natural cheese made from carefully pasteurized milk. K-brand cheese ages right in its own spick-and-span wrapper. It has no rind, so every bit of its rich goodness is usable for holiday good eating. The next time you shop, have your dealer cut a portion for you from the big wrapped bar with the words K-brand natural marked down the top and sides. Remember, this is the natural cheddar made of pasteurized milk. Remember, K-brand natural cheese.
Thanks for bringing me home, Judge.
Not at all, Gildy. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year, Horace. Fine fellow, Horace. Yes, sir. I always like him better when I hear how badly he sings. Hi, George. Nothing like spending an evening with the Jolly Boys. Well, I see Marjorie's home. Light on in the window. There's the one I broke. Well, I'll fix it in the morning. Start the new year right. Keep things warm and snug for the little family. Yes, sir, and ours will be a harmonious little household. I'll be a better uncle in 1948. Not speak a cross word to Leroy. I told Leroy to move that sled off his porch. Leroy!
You call me Uncle?
Well, Happy New Year, my boy. Go back to bed.
Oh, for corn's sake.
What the heck? Can't bawl the little fellow out first day of 1948. Folks, before I go in, I'd like to wish the best New Year ever to all of you from all of us. Marjorie, little Leroy, Bertie, and all the rest of our friends here in Summerfield. Tonight's writers, John Elliott and Andy White. Our other writing team, Gene Stone and Jack Robinson. Our musical director, Jack Meekin. And our dialogue director, Fran Van Hartesveld, wish you the same. And from our sponsor, the Kraft Foods Company, a very special wish for your health and happiness in 1948. Good night. I'm bushed.
No, you're not. You're Harold Perry.
Happy New Year.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
And now, Autolite and its 60,000 dealers and service stations present Suspense. Tonight, Autolite brings you William Bendix in Breakup, a suspense play produced and directed by Anton M. Leader. Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrills, is presented for your enjoyment by Autolite and its 60,000 dealers and service stations. And friends, today is the very first birthday of Autolite resistor spark plugs. Yep, and a more popular one-year-old you never saw. That's why car owners everywhere are switching to Autolite resistor spark plugs, and no wonder. For when you replace your narrow-gap plugs with wide-gap Autolite resistor spark plugs, your car will idle smoother. You'll have better luck with lean gas mixtures, actually save gas dollars. What's more, wide-gap Autolite resistor spark plugs cut down spark plug interference with radio and television reception. So, friends, don't debate, delay, defer, or defray, but drive down tomorrow to your nearest Autolite dealer and switch to a set of sensational Autolite resistor spark plugs. You'll be glad you did. And now, here is William Bendix in a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Let him alone, Chick. Max, tell Chick to let him alone.
All right, Chick. Just use him for a footrest. It ain't often a fella gets a chance to wipe his feet on a cop.
Where are we taking him, Max?
Oh, to the end of the line, Marty. Then we give him a transfer. A steel jacket transfer. Get the picture, Chick? Chick gets the picture.
When, Max?
When we get over the bridge. Yeah, we'll make Callahan a good cop. And then we'll dump him. Chick, I said enough's enough.
Make it stick this time, will you, Max?
You're awful sensitive for an ex-cop. You with us, Marty?
What do you think?
I think maybe you're remembering that before they bounced you off the force, you and Kevlahan once teamed together on the homicide squad.
Once had long red curls, too. No, Max, what I'm remembering is the raw deal that Captain Brandt gave me. And the little murder rap Kivlahan's been just sweating to pin on me.
Marty, tell you what.
Yeah?
You're all the time asking for a chance to climb up in the organization. I'm going to give it to you now. I'll let you combine business with pleasure as a personal favor.
I'm listening.
I'm going to let you put the quiet on Kevlahan all by yourself. How's that? I didn't hear you, Marty. I said, how's that?
How's that, he says. How's that? I leave it to you, Captain Brandt. You dealt the cards for this hand. How is it? Me, Marty Connors, turning cop killer. Are you satisfied, Brandt? We're on the Queensboro Bridge now. Me and Kivy. Remember your tough team of Connors and Kivlahan? Only this time he ain't my partner, Brandt. He's my gun meat. I guess I should have expected anything. Anything at all once I started to roll on my own. No holds barred since the breakup. Just a lot of dirty infighting from the day Brandt put the skids under me in front of those newspaper vultures. Morning, Chief. Hi, Kiv.
Hi.
What are those reporters doing outside?
Hand me your shield, Connors.
What?
I said hand me your shield. You're suspended on decision of the board.
But...
You heard me. You're going up on charges.
But, Brandt, give me a break.
Oh, give him a break, Captain. Break? Tell me, Connors. Where were you last night?
Well, I had a date.
At a bar, huh? With a dame you never saw before.
Well, we had a few drinks and...
And what happened after that?
Well, you see...
I'll tell you. You're the only one who doesn't seem to know because everybody else read it in this morning's paper. Strange dame got you dead drunk at a bar. Rode you for your gun when you passed out. Tried to stick up, shot the joint to splinters, and was collared still carrying your gun. Now you know, do you still expect a break?
Sure, I expect a break. In the first place, I was off duty at the time, and in the second place, I've been on the force 11 years.
And third place, if it was 111, Connors, I'd still bounce you and bounce you hard. You want to hand me that posse of yours, or do I tear it off your chest?
Here. Add it to your collection, Captain Brandt.
I'm sorry about the verdict, Marty, but don't blame Brandt.
Oh, sure. Don't blame Brandt. Blame me. I'm the first cop ever gets drunk, huh? Brandt don't drink. You don't, huh?
Well,
Not a one of you knows what liquor smells like, I suppose. It's a laugh.
Oh, stop it, Marty. What are you going to do?
Going out to tie one on. What'd you think I was going to do?
What are you trying to prove? Oh, Marty, look, you didn't get jammed up because of a drink now and then. It was a dame. With you, it's always a dame. You lose your head, Marty. You let him make a sucker out.
Lay off, kid.
It's the truth,
I said lay off. Lay off.
Okay, then. Oh, Marty. Marty, let's not... I mean, you and me, we... How you fix for money?
I got enough. And pretty soon, maybe I'll have a lot more. Big bundles of it. I've already got a call from Doc Williamson and Max Shale.
What?
Nibble on that one, Kiv.
Marty, are you crazy? Steer clear of them.
Why?
Show
me why.
You know as well as I do. If you don't, well, just ask any of the boys on the narcotics squad. Oh, Marty, stop short, or I can see where you're headed just as plain as... Listen to me.
Go on.
No, listen to me. You tangle with Williamson and Shale, and no telling what can happen. One of us might one day have to go after you. It might be me.
You ain't on narcotics.
Narcotics and homicide don't mix, huh?
Mercy me. It gives his Sunday school. After the deal I got...
Look, if you'll only mark time for a while and not lose your head, the newspaper blast will die down, and I'm sure the commissioner will give you another...
Commissioner, and nuts to Brandt. This to him, look, all 5 fingers. And to you, Kivlahan. And you stay away from me here. Stay away, I mean it. I'm going to go line up that job right now.
So you're Marty Connors, huh? I can use you.
I can be used.
It pays $150 a week. I need a guard. You know the setup Max and me are in. We got a nice club, nice customers, a lot of them rich. It attracts cheap guns. And they figure maybe they can knock the place over and take all the dough around the gambling tables. Now, you have a reputation for being hard. That might stop the trouble even before it begins. That would be part of your job.
And the other part?
I carry a lot of money and one or two other things. I want personal protection. Well?
It's a contract. Is that all I do? Don't I get in on the big stuff? Not the gambling, the big stuff.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The dust, Doc, the dust. That's what pays off.
I still don't know what you're talking about. But when I think you're worth more, I'll see that you get a chance to earn it. Until then, don't let your nose get dirty. You know what I mean?
I'm a too-hanky man. Hey, who's the long-legged redhead at the piano? Do I get a chance to protect her, too?
I handle that myself. Leave it strictly alone. Understand?
Sure. I don't blame you. Not the least little bit. So I went to work as a stalker for Doc Williamson and Max Shale. I'd call for Doc every night at 1, take him to the club, and then walk around the tables, and that was all. Bottom of the heap for weeks. I wasn't making any headway in that direction, but I was in another. Rita, I learned her name was Rita. Sometimes she'd be there when I called for Doc, but I might have been collecting the laundry for all the attention she paid, until one time I rang Doc's doorbell, and she answered it.
Hello, big fella.
Tell Doc I'm here.
He's not in.
When will he be back?
Not soon. Maybe. Won't I do?
Didn't he leave word?
He didn't leave anything. Except me.
I'll wait for him in the lobby.
What's the matter, Marty? Don't you like me?
Mm-hmm. I like Doc's watch and chain, too, but I don't heist it.
Why not? You're big enough. Maybe you take better care of it than he does. Maybe he treats it bad, leaves it around lonesome in a satin-lined case. Don't you need a watch, Marty?
Well, you can't tell. Might come a day when I'll need the right time bad. I thought about that watch a lot the next few days. The next time I rang Doc's doorbell and she answered it and said,
Hello, big fella.
Tell Doc I'm here.
He's not in.
You lovely, lousy, long-legged redhead.
Marty, Doc will be back in a minute. Where can we meet? I gotta see you.
My place tomorrow?
Yeah, your place. Tomorrow. And the next day. And the next. Marty, I'm afraid of him. I'm afraid of him.
Right, Doc, he's just a yellow slob.
I think he knows about you and me. We've been seeing each other the last few weeks. I'm scared. Marty, he beats me. Once he threatened to kill me.
Well, the next time he tries it, flash this. You'll see how quick he'll fall. Here, take it. It's only a little 25 automatic. Put it in your purse.
No.
Go on, take it. Do as I say. Hold it in reserve. He raises a finger to you, draw fast, and watch him retreat.
You know, I feel better already.
Sure. That's why they call you the old equalizer. Was it about me he threatened to kill you?
No.
Who, another big fella?
No, nothing like that. He once found me going through his bureau.
What's the secret? He wears a girdle? All right, then, don't tell me. Here, have another drink.
Marty, you know what Doc and Max do for the really big money?
Oh, sure, they peddle dreams. That's no secret. Not really. Why?
You know the setup?
Yeah, I'm just an arm, a yard and a half a week arm.
Well, I know the setup. I'm the only one who does, aside from Doc and maybe Max.
Ah. Well, go on.
Max does most of the work. He's distributing the stuff, but he gets a smaller cut than Doc does. You know why?
Because before you can distribute the stuff...
You've got to have it to distribute. Doc's the buyer. He has the contacts all over the world. And guess where he keeps what he knows? The actress's cold shipping dates.
Well, how would I know?
In a little green notebook in a chamois bag hung around his neck. That's why he hired you, Marty. Oh, Marty. Marty, do you know what it could mean to us if we had that notebook?
Yeah. He wears it on him, huh?
Uh-huh, around his neck.
Rita, listen hard. This evening before I come to pick him up, snuggle up to him. See if you can feel that chamois bag. If he's wearing it, give me the nod when I call from at 1. Do you follow me?
Oh, yeah, Marty, I follow you. Maybe I'm even ahead of you.
I went up there at 1. I rang and rang, but no one answered. When I tried the knob, the door swung open. Rita wasn't there. But Doc was. He would never be deader. He was lying face down, what was left of the face, on the bedroom rug. The room still smelled of cordite. A .25 shell lay near his feet. His body was still warm. I know because I felt it when I reached for the chamois bag, which wasn't there.
For Suspense, Autolite is bringing you William Bendix in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Okay, Harlow, give us a lowdown. Did you invite Mary and me to the studio just to hear you talk about Autolite resistor spark plugs?
Talk about them? Why, by conniving Cornelius, we're going to celebrate them. Because, Hap, you have the honor of being present at the first birthday party of those super sensational Autolite resistor spark plugs.
Gee, Harlow, have you got a birthday cake,
Have
too?
I got a cake? Why, I've got a cake studded with Autolite resistor spark plugs instead of candles. Hey, pull the card off that nearest plug, Hap, and read what it says.
Let's see. It says, replace your narrow gap plugs with me if smoother idling you would see. If you want more miles to cost less money, cuddle up and be my honey. Signed, ALRSP. Guess who?
ALRSP, Autolite resistor spark plugs, of course. Try another one, Hap.
Many happy returns of the day, Autolite resistor spark plugs say. P.S. To cut down interference on your radio and television, see that your car is in. That's a rhyme?
Well, now, you wouldn't accuse me, would you, Hap?
I don't know.
Well, anyhow, Hap, now that we've had our fun, let's get back to Suspense.
And now, Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage William Bendix as Marty Connors in Breakup, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
I got out of Doc's apartment fast, left it just as I found it, him dead on the floor with the shell beside him. I had to find Rita. Poor kid, she'd really be in a mess now. Everybody knew she was Doc's girl. I had to locate her in the chamois bag. I took a cab to her flat and let myself in. No Rita. That meant I would have to go hunting, but not without a gun, not now. I went home to pick up my police positive. It was in my bureau drawer. And snuggling next to it among the socks was Rita's little .25, with one chamber empty and a smell sharp as incense. So I was being suckered again. Kivy. Oh, Kiv, you old son of a gun. Well, come in. Come on in. Can I fix you a drink, Kiv?
I ain't here social, Marty.
No?
No. Remember I told you I might be sent after you one day? Well, I'm sent.
What are you talking about, Kiv?
The elevator boy found Doc dead a few minutes ago.
So?
So you're the only one he took down from that floor since 10 o'clock.
Well, Kiv, you know what to expect from a sleepy elevator kid.
Why ain't you with Doc tonight?
Well, it's just my night off. Kiv, you don't really think I've turned killer?
Why not? Oh, by the way, I know about you and that redhead. Come on, let's go, Marty. Brant wants to talk to you.
Brant, huh? I should jump at that. I don't hop bells for Brant now, Kiv. You know that. As far as I'm concerned, you and
Shut
Brent
up,
both...
Marty.
You don't make me. If Brent wants to talk to me, he comes here with a warrant yet.
Then I'll have to take you.
If you want it, copper.
What? You drawing on
Stay
me?
where you are, Kiv. You ain't bringing me in.
You big ape. You're trying to nerve yourself up to it? Oh, Marty.
Back, Kiv.
A guy would think you meant it.
I do mean it. I swear I'll let you have...
Not you, Marty. Not a next guy.
That ought to keep your nose out of it for a while, Kiv.
6th floor, sir.
Huh? No. Okay.
Mr. Shale's apartment is just around there.
Thanks.
Max, Marty. Oh, Marty, I've been so worried about you. I've been sitting here down by inches, Marty. I didn't know
A sweet frame you nailed together, a sweet one.
Is that what you think? Marty, honey, it wasn't. I swear it. I swear by all that's holy to me.
Such as what? $1 bill, maybe?
Marty, listen to me. When I got to Doc's, he was waiting for me. He knew all about it. He began to hit me. I did what you said, Marty. I took out your gun. My finger must have slipped.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't afraid, Marty. I love you. Lots of men would like me to say that to them, but I love you.
All right, stop it. I didn't mean to hurt you. Shh.
After I lost my head, I went to your place, but you weren't there. I put the gun in the drawer where I thought it would be safe, and I waited for you, but you didn't come. So I came here. I thought maybe Max would...
It's all right, baby. It's going to be all right. Now, shh, quiet. Let me have the chamois bag. Rita, the chamois bag. Let me have it.
I haven't got it, Marty. I didn't even look for it. I couldn't have touched him.
You're not lying to me now.
No.
It wasn't on him when I found him. He was clean. Rita, shh. Who would that be? Max, maybe?
Max would have come right in.
Who is it?
Elevator boy, sir.
What do you want?
It's the lady, Miss Carter, lost her gloves in the elevator.
You were wearing gloves?
I don't remember.
All right, boy, give him...
Hold it, Marty.
Kim!
Nothing fast, now you're covered. Okay, son. Thanks. Get back to your elevator.
Yes, sir.
Back in, Marty. Go on, both of you. Get back in. Well, you've lost a lot of savvy since you left the squad, Marty. Taking a cab here from the hack stand in front of your place. Huh. Marty Connors and Doc's baby together. Well, the DA won't have much of a job with this one.
No, I don't know anything about
Easy,
it.
baby, easy. He's got nothing on you.
A copper gun, Ratsy. Who'd have figured it? Get away from that phone, Marty.
No sucker, Kiv. We're getting a lawyer. You got things to ask. Wait for him.
You move again without I say move, and I'll plug you.
You wouldn't, Kiv.
Try me. You're just a cheap hood, and I'm treating you like one. The palsy stuff is true. You'll see Brandt first, you and the girl, and then you can call a lawyer. Let me at that phone.
Drop it, copper.
Huh?
You're covered.
Max. Oh, Max.
Hand him, chick. Make sure he's clean. Okay, Marty. Relax.
This'll get you nothing but tears and moans, Shale.
Is he clean, chick? Okay, cold cock him.
Oh!
All right, now. What's it all about?
Well, when I called for Doc tonight...
I'll get to you in a minute, Marty. Talk, Rita.
Doc's dead.
Good. Who did it?
I did. He showed fight when I told him to hand over the notebook.
Rita, you...
Shut up. Go ahead.
That's all. Except, here's the notebook.
Ah, nice going, baby. Got it at last.
Rita, you've been stringing along with him?
Sure she has. If it's any of your business, which it ain't.
You lousy redhead.
What's he so heated about?
Well, I used his gun and planted it on him.
You gave her your gun for the job? That guy's getting to be a habit with you.
Frame spotting the frame and then talked out of the spot by a lousy redhead.
Forget it, Marty. The frame is out. I need an arm like you now that Doc is dormy. All sorts of guys will get ideas about moving into the business. Look, here's the pitch. You gave Doc your gun last night.
Because he asked for it. He was afraid of something. Didn't say what. That's your story. Stick to it. I'll set up an alibi for you for the rest of it. Leave it to me. Okay?
Okay. You lousy redhead.
What does this copper know?
Too much.
We dump him right now.
You can't. He came in with the elevator boy.
Chick, take care of it. Baby, you're leaving town in a hurry before they grab you. Start packing.
All right, Maxie.
Now, give me a hand with the cop, Marty. We'll take him out the back way. I said, give me a hand, Marty. Going to play it smart or not?
Yeah. Yeah, sure, Max. I'm going to play it smart.
Well, I'm still waiting for your answer, Marty. I've been waiting all the way across the bridge. Cut hard to the left here. Now. Hey. When you cut hard, don't you? How's Kivlin, chick? Nice and dark, ain't it, Marty? Yeah, this'll do. Pull up here. Cut the lights. I guess we're ready. Well, Marty? Chick'll do it if you won't. Okay. Stay a small-time hood. Chick, roll out the cop.
Wait a minute, Max. Kivlahan is...
Kivlahan goes. You don't pull that stuff, Marty. It's too late.
Not Kivlahan, Max.
Chick, roll him out.
Max!
Take your hand out of your pocket, chump. We're 2 guns to your 1. You're with me now, or else you go with Kivlahan.
Not Kivlahan, Max.
Chick, get him!
Kiv, are you all right?
Yeah, okay, Marty. Didn't touch me. You?
I'm okay. Help me get Max's overcoat off. I'm cold. He don't need it no more anyway. Let's dump them both in the back seat.
Okay.
That does it. You want to take the wheel, Kiv?
Yeah, sure. Oh, this is almost like old times, Marty. You and me together.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to have to take you in to see Brant.
It's a good trick if you can swing it.
Huh?
I told you, if Brant wants to see me, let him come.
Marty! How's he going to be, Doc?
Matter of minutes. If Captain Brant wants to talk to him at all.
I phoned him. He should be here now.
Kiv.
Right here, Marty, right here. You're going to be okay, Sal.
Kiv. I heard the doc. There's the top coat I was wearing. The one I took off Max.
Oh, yeah. It's right here, Marty. Yeah, here it is.
There's a little notebook in one of the pockets. Narcotics ought to see it right away. Yeah, that one.
Holy cow. Marty, you know what this is? What's in it?
Hello, Marty.
You see, kid, I told you Brant would have to come to me if he wanted to see.
Marty!
He can't hear you.
He gave me this, Captain. You know what it is? It would have put him right back on the force.
He was never off it.
What?
That's right. It was a plant, right from the time he let the dame shoot up the saloon with his gun.
You planted him with that gang?
Don't look at me like that, Kiv. It was a good idea and it worked, and I ain't ashamed of having thought of it. It was the only way to get the goods on these dope runners.
Yeah, but
As for Marty, well, he was a good cop. And after all, this is what he was paid for.
thank you, William Bendix, for a splendid performance. Mr. Bendix will return in just a moment.
Well, I don't know. Have you got any more birthday banter about Autolite resistor spark plugs?
No banter, Hap, just facts. For the fact is, those wide-gap Autolite resistor spark plugs are wonderful. They're sensational. They're ignition-engineered. And there's a type for every make of car. Why, by Cornelius, everyone ought to switch to a set of Autolite resistor spark plugs right away. And now, Hap, here's one more rousing spark plug rhyme. Let's read it together.
Okay.
You can tell the difference in your car with Autolite resistor spark plugs there. Well, Hap, you certainly ought to remember this Autolite resistor spark plug birthday. And friends, here's something for everyone to remember. Autolite means spark plugs.
Ignition-engineered resistor spark plugs.
Autolite means batteries.
Stay full batteries.
Autolite means ignition system.
The lifeline of your car.
And now here again is William Bendix.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to appear on Suspense. This is probably every actor's favorite program, and I know that... Help! Help! Let me out! Hey, there's someone in that closet. Well, Jack Benny, what are you doing in there?
Oh, hello, Bill. I'm glad somebody let me out.
Well, I don't get it. What's the idea, Jack?
Well, you see, Bill, I'm moving my program to CBS Sunday nights, and I thought I'd drop in and look over the studio, pick one out. And then all of a sudden, all that shooting started, and I hid in the closet.
Oh, well, I'm sure glad you didn't stop any of those bullets, Jack. We all want to hear you next Sunday night on CBS. Your program has always been on my must list, along with Suspense.
Well, thanks, Bill. By the way, what about next week's Suspense?
Next week, radio's outstanding theater of thrills presents Gene Kelly and Ethel Barrymore in To Find Help. Another gripping study in...
Bill, wait a minute. Bill, wait. Let me say it, will you? Huh? You know, that one word. Let me say it.
Well, sure, Jack. Next week, hear Gene Kelly and Ethel Barrymore in To Find Help. Another gripping study in...
Suspense. Who said I can't do drama?
William Bendix appears through the courtesy of his own radio show, The Life of Riley, sponsored by Prell, and will soon be seen in the Paramount picture, The Streets of Laredo. Wally Mayer was heard as Kivlahan. Tonight's suspense play was adapted for radio by Joseph Ruskall and Walter Newman from the original story by Thomas Walsh. Music was composed by Lucian Morawek and conducted by Lud Gluskin. The entire production was under the direction of Anton M. Leader. In the coming weeks, Suspense will present such stars as Danny Kaye, Robert Montgomery, Dana Andrews, and many others. Make it a point to listen each Thursday to Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrills. And next Thursday, same time, hear Gene Kelly and Ethel Barrymore in To Find Help.
This is the Autolite Suspense Show. Take advantage of high prices for steel scrap. Turn in yours to your local scrap dealer. Good night. Happy New Year from Autolite.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Remember, a Hallmark card when you care enough to send the very best. Tonight, from Hollywood, the makers of Hallmark greeting cards bring you Herbert Marshall in James Hilton's Lost Horizon on the Hallmark Playhouse. Each week, Hallmark will bring you Hollywood's greatest stars in outstanding stories chosen by one of the world's best-known authors, the distinguished novelist, Mr. James Hilton.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is James Hilton. Tonight on our Hallmark Playhouse, we have the great honor of welcoming one of Hollywood's most distinguished actors, Mr. Herbert Marshall.
Thank you, Jimmy. It's a great honor for me to play in your Lost Horizon. Not only a wonderful story, but it has really put a new word into the language. Shangri-La. I wonder if before we start, you'd mind telling us whether there is a real Shangri-La somewhere.
Well, you won't find it on any of the maps. But in a sort of a way, everyone can find his own Shangri-La in his own heart. It may not be easy, but the birth of a new year is a good time to make the resolution, to find a little personal peace of mind in a troubled world. And now, Frankos, haven't you a word or two to say?
There's a new year coming, a new year with a brand new set of important days for remembering people. Birthdays, anniversaries, holidays. For all these days, for every memorable occasion on your calendar, there's a Hallmark card that says just what you want to say, the way you want to say it. And on the back of every card appears the hallmark that says you cared enough to send the very best. Now, James Hilton's Lost Horizon, starring Herbert Marshall.
You are now deep in the mountains of Tibet, the highest part of the Earth's surface. That snow-capped peak above you is Karakau, and below, in the valley of the Blue Moon, lies the lamasery of Shangri-La.
I came to this world across the mountains from India. We had been flying from Baskul to Peshawar on the northwest frontier. I was the British consul in Baskul, and my vice-consul, a young fellow named Melanson, was making the trip with me. Besides us, there were two other passengers and the pilot. Our plane should have landed in Peshawar at about 5:30. We never arrived at our destination.
Conway. I say, Conway, are you asleep?
What's the matter, Melanson? Anything wrong?
I'm not sure, but I think our pilot's off his course.
Nonsense.
Well, look down there. Nothing but mountains as far as you can see.
I don't recognize this part of the world at all. I should say you were right, Melanson. The man's lost his way.
Was that Conway? You say we were lost?
Lost? Good heavens.
It's quite all right, Miss Sprinkler. There's nothing to be upset about, I'm sure.
Still, there's nothing like finding out, is there? Shall I speak to the pilot, Conway?
Thanks, I'll do it. You, there, pilot. Open the panel.
I advise that you ask no questions, please.
Oh, certainly.
Look here, we want to know where we are. I advise that you be seated. I will not be seated.
Madison, I don't know whether you've noticed it, but there's a revolver pointed directly at my chest. I think you better do as the gentleman suggests. For hours after that, we sat in the darkness, each of us pretending to sleep. Suddenly, the plane lurched sharply. There was a loud rushing sound in my ears, and I realized we were coming down, but fast, much too fast. We stumbled from the plane, badly shaken, and all but the pilot uninjured. The cold was intense, a solid, icy cold that you could touch with your fingertips. I knew we must be somewhere in Tibet, a vast, barren region of windswept upland.
Conway, I'm here! There's something the matter with this pilot fellow.
There was little we could do for him, and as the early rays of the sun caught the summit of the mountain, the man died.
I say, Conway.
Yeah?
I've just been looking at that mountain. Am I seeing things? Are those men coming toward us?
They were men. A party of a dozen or more, crawling like ants across the white face of the cliff. As they drew near, we saw they carried among them a hooded chair, and in it, a heavily robed figure. An elderly Chinese, gray-haired, clean-shaven.
I come from the lamasery of Shangri-La. My name is Chang. You, sir, would you be good enough to present me to your friends?
Of course, this is Miss Brinklow, Mr. Barnard, and Mr. Melanson. My name is Conway.
Conway, yes. Your plane is beyond repair?
I'm afraid so. And anyway, our pilot is dead.
Yes. You will come to Shangri-La. It is a hazardous journey, and the only place of habitation within 1,000 miles. I shall be happy to accompany you.
That's very kind, thank you.
And we'd like to hire some of your porters to help us on the journey back.
We want to return to civilization as soon as possible.
Are you so certain you are away from it?
There was a pass of 20,000 feet, which we managed with the aid of long ropes. When we had struggled breathlessly to the top, I saw above us, shimmering in the rosy twilight, the loveliest mountain on earth.
That snow-capped peak above you is Karakal. And below, in the valley of the Blue Moon, lies the lamasery of Shangri-La.
I never exactly remembered how we arrived at the lamasery. The thin air had a dreamlike texture, and I was conscious of a strange sensation, half mystical, half visual, of having reached at last some place that was an end, a finality. Shangri-La, I learned, was a sort of monastery whose inhabitants ruled the natives in the valley below. Those in full armorhood numbered about 50, and their prevalent belief was in moderation, the virtue of avoiding excess of all kinds. These things I learned the first night as I stood with Chang on the broad balcony overlooking the valley.
There is something more you would like to know, Mr. Conway?
Please. I want to know, this morning, when you found us, were you setting out on a journey?
No.
Then you came there deliberately to intercept us? How did you know we were coming?
You are very clever. But I should counsel you not to worry your friends with these abstract discussions.
No, they want something more concrete. They want to know exactly how long you're going to keep us here.
There will be certain unavoidable delays.
How long?
The difficulties of the trip. Securing the necessary porters.
How long, please?
You may tell your friends a few months.
But you don't guarantee it. Is that what you mean? For myself, I can't say I shall mind a great deal. It's a new and interesting experience.
In time to come, you may find it even more interesting. Good night.
In the days that followed at Shangri-La, I gave myself over to a rich and growing enchantment. In the petal-colored buildings which dotted the mountain, I recognized priceless treasures of art, paintings and sketches, exquisite ceramics preserved for more than 1,000 years. In the spacious library, I discovered the great literature of the present and of centuries past. One morning, I stood beside a lotus pool in an open pavilion of the lamasery. In an archway behind me, a young girl was seated at a harpsichord. That was very lovely.
You are pleased?
More than pleased. Oh, my name is Hugh Conway.
They call me Lot Sen.
Lot Sen. And do you live below in the valley?
No, I live here.
At the lamasery?
Yes. But as yet I have not attained the full lamahood.
You mean you are a lama?
Yes.
I'm a bit confused. I thought only men could be lamas.
They will tell you when you have been here longer that in the lamahood there are no distinctions between a man and a woman.
But you're hardly more than a child.
Shall I play for you again?
Please.
Good morning.
Oh, Chang.
You are pleased with Lot Sen?
She plays beautifully.
She has studied for a great many years.
How could she? How old is Lot Sen?
I'm afraid I cannot tell you.
One night the moonlight fell on Shangri-La, bathing the pavilion in a sea of blue.
I am sorry to disturb you at this hour, but I bring you important news.
Yes, Chang.
I congratulate you, sir. Tonight you are to be received by the High Lama.
I followed Chang through the lamasery, I knew I was on the threshold of some great discovery. Pattering in front of me, he mounted a spiral staircase to a door which opened noiselessly before us. Chang left silently. As I became accustomed to the gloom, I saw sitting before me a small and wrinkled man. He was motionless, a fading antique portrait in Chinese dress. His face thin and drawn tight over the frame of his skull. And his eyes. I felt dizzy beneath the gaze of those ancient eyes.
You are Mr. Conway.
I am.
It is a pleasure to see you, Mr. Conway. Please sit down. I am an old man and can do no one any harm.
I feel it a great honor to be received by you.
Thank you. Chang tells me you have been asking many questions about our community and its affairs.
I am very much interested in them.
The history of Shangri-La begins rightly in the city of Peking in the year 1719. For it was then that 4 friars set out on a long and perilous journey. They traveled southwest for many months by Lanchao and Nonokawa, facing many hardships. 3 died on the way, and the 4th was not far from death, when by accident he stumbled into the rocky defile that today remains the only practical approach to our Valley of the Blue Moon. There, to his joy and surprise, he found a friendly population who bade him welcome, and quickly he recovered his health. His name was Father Perrault. For more than half a century, Father Perrault labored with his hands like any other man, tilling his own garden and learning from the inhabitants as well as teaching them. Then, in the year 1789, news descended to the valley that Father Perrault was dying at last. He bade his friends farewell, but the end was not yet. He lay for many weeks without speech or movement, and then he began to recover. He was then 108.
The ancient Lama paused. What he had told me was not beyond belief, but as he went on, I was held speechless with wonder. It was 14 years later, he told me, that a wanderer found his way to Father Perrault's monastery, an Austrian named Henschel. A great friendship sprang up between the two, and Henschel stayed on. It was then that they had a wild, fantastic dream. Art treasures from Europe and Asia were purchased with the valley's gold and stored at Shangri-La. The library was filled with the great works of the world. And later it was decided to admit travelers and strangers who had lost their way.
Yes, Mr. Conway. Strangers might come as freely as they wished, but with one important proviso.
And what was that?
In 1910, Henschel died. He was killed.
In 1910? But you said he came here in 1803.
Yes.
And he was killed, you said?
Yes. A traveler shot him. There had been a quarrel about some porters. Henschel had just told him of the important proviso that governs our reception of guests. Well, perhaps you are wondering, my dear Conway, what that proviso may be.
I think I can already guess. We are to stay here all of our lives.
And can you guess anything else after this long and curious story of mine?
It seems impossible. And yet, impossible as it may be, I know that it's the truth.
What is, my son?
That you are still alive, Father Perrault.
In a moment, James Hilton will return to bring you the second act of Lost Horizons, starring Herbert Marshall. Your 1949 Hallmark date book is waiting for you now. It's your friendly Hallmark store's way of saying Happy New Year to you. People who already have theirs say it's just about the most useful little book they ever saw. There's a separate calendar page for every month of the coming year, and space for jotting down things to remember each day. There's also room for names and addresses of people you'll want to remember during each month. And in the back, well, there's one of the most useful features of all, a place for next year's Christmas card list, with a way to check each name to show cards sent and cards received. Yes, a Hallmark date book is so convenient, you'll find yourself referring to it constantly, using it for all sorts of reminders to yourself. Reminders of social engagements, appointments, anniversaries. Reminders to do those thoughtful little things that will mean so much to all your friends and loved ones through the coming year. It's just the right size to slip into your purse or to keep handy beside your telephone. And it's such a beautiful little book. With its camellia-decorated cover, its pink and white pages. Now, to get your Hallmark date book, simply visit the friendly store where you find Hallmark greeting cards and ask for it. It's yours without obligation. Better get your Hallmark date book right away, in time to start the new year right. And now, James Hilton and the second act of Lost Horizon, starring Herbert Marshall.
Conway learned one of the secrets of Shangri-La that night, the secret of prolonged human life. For the High Lama who sat beside him had lived for nearly 2.5 centuries. Conway's coming was no accident, he said. There had been no travelers to Shangri-La for 20 years. Many lamas had died, and the pilot had been sent out into the world to find new persons to take their places.
Then there is death at Shangri-La.
Yes, my son. There are many of us who live no more than 100 years.
And if one of your lamas were to leave the Valley of the Blue Moon?
He would die. His years would fall on his shoulders like a great burden, and he would die. Very soon. An old, old man.
Lutsen.
You have seen the High Lama?
Lutsen, how did you come here?
I was betrothed to a prince of Turkestan. We were traveling to Kashgar to meet him when my carriers lost their way in the mountains.
When did this happen?
I was 18.
18? Then now you are...
The missionaries of Shangri-La found us. They brought us here. I never saw the man I was to marry.
Then in all these years you have never known the meaning of love. Lutsen, is there no love at Shangri-La? She did not answer, but I saw a faint flush rising in her ivory cheek. And then I was aware that someone had entered the pavilion and was watching us. It was Mallinson. One night, at midnight, I was summoned to the presence of the High Lama.
Tell me, my son, have you been happy at Shangri-La?
Quite happy, Father Perrault.
And what of your friends? Will they learn to be content also?
I'm afraid Mallinson is going to be a problem.
He is going to be your problem.
Why mine?
Because, my son, I am going to die.
You, Father Perrault?
Yes, we are all mortal, even here in the Valley of the Blue Moon. But I must feel at rest before I die. That is why I sent for you tonight.
You do me a great honor, Father.
I have waited for you, my son, for a long time. My son, there is a great storm gathering in the world, a black fury which will not spend itself for many years. It may rage till every flower of culture is trampled and all human things are leveled in vast chaos. But I believe that you will live through the storm. I see a new world stirring in the ruins, seeking its lost and legendary treasures. And they will all be here, my son, hidden behind the mountains in the Valley of the Blue Moon. And you will be here to give them to the hopeful world. My son, I place in your hands the heritage and destiny of Shangri-La.
The High Lama stopped speaking. The glow in his eyes faded. present it came to me as in a dream. The High Lama was dead.
Conway, I've been waiting for you. I said, what's the matter, Conway? Are you ill?
No, just tired.
Well, pull yourself together, man. The porters are waiting for us.
Porters?
It's all arranged. They're going to take us back to Perchoir. Miss Brinklow and Bartlett are staying.
Who's been making all these plans?
Lutsen. She's with the porters now. She's waiting.
No.
I'm in love with Lutsen. And she loves me. She's coming with us.
Lutsen must not go. It's impossible.
Why? Why is it impossible?
You must take my word for it. Lutsen must never leave here.
Conway, we need your help. We can't manage the cliff without you. I want to get away from this place. And Lutsen, too. She's young. Doesn't she count?
Lutsen is not young.
Not young, you're raving.
It's the truth. Her beauty is a fragile thing that can live only where fragile things are loved. Manson, listen to me. I tried then to tell him the secret of Shangri-La. He looked at me as though I were mad. And as I read the disbelief in his eyes, I began to doubt myself. And then Lutsen came to me.
You will help us, please. We need you.
Lutsen, do you wish to leave Shangri-La?
Yes.
You understand the risk? If you leave this valley, you will fade away like an echo.
Oh, you have been listening to the fables of these old men.
You mean?
I love him. If he is not with me, I would die. Here.
For hours I paced the balcony. I could not tell whether I had been mad and was now sane, or had been sane for a time and was now mad again. But always before we were the wistful, pleading eyes of the little Manchu girl. That morning, with the wind roaring through the jagged cliffs, we made the descent from Shangri-La.
For weeks they traveled toward the east, Mallinson, the girl, and Conway, and then the porters began to desert. One by one they disappeared, then there were just the three of them, creeping like snails across the desert wilderness. For a long while there were only two. Mallinson had died. At first Conway tried to believe it was the hardship of the journey which had changed Lutsen.
I'm tired. I can go no further.
We must go on, Lutsen.
I'm tired.
That must be the last range of that mountain. You see, Lutsen?
It is too far. I cannot see so far.
One more step, Lutsen. One more step. One more.
No. You must go on alone from here.
Her eyes were shadows, her skin drawn, the color of ancient parchment. Her cheekbones. Lutsen.
I am old. I am so old. So old.
They found us on the road to Chongqiang, and we were taken to the hospital there. Lutsen, they told me later. Lutsen died that same night. The oldest woman they had ever seen. The storm of which Father Perot warned me still threatens the world. Not yet has the Christian ethic been fulfilled when the meek shall inherit the earth. But Shangri-La has a heritage to cherish and bequeath, with such wisdom as men will need when their passions are spent. Soon I hope I'll return. Somewhere beyond Lhasa, on the high roof of the world, I seem to picture A long plateau running north, and far away a mountain rising white against the sky. I hope to find it again, for this, I think, is Caracal. And beyond is Shangri-La and the Valley of the Blue Moon.
Before James Hilton returns with Herbert Marshall to tell you about next week's show, our first show for the new year, here's a wish for the new year from the makers of Hallmark greeting cards. May your calendar for 1949 be filled with memorable days, and may they all be happy ones. To keep a record of them, remember to get your Hallmark date book. It's waiting for you now. It's yours without obligation from the friendly store where you'll find Hallmark greeting cards. Now, here's James Hilton.
You've heard the legend of Shangri-La with its abiding message of peace. I hope most fondly that the new year will bring all of us some of that same peace, some of that same freedom of mind and spirit, and above all, some of that same inner happiness. To you, Herbert Marshall, our most sincere thanks for being Conway, and for the warm and sympathetic character you created for us.
Jimmy, there's nothing in modern literature I know of that leaves one with such hope and beauty and the feeling of future promise as does the poetry and philosophy you have woven into Lost Horizon. Thank you, Jimmy, for the pleasure I've had. And I'd like to thank your sponsors, the maker of Hallmark cards, for having shown the good taste to have chosen you as their weekly host. But from what I've seen of their fine greeting cards, good taste is a tradition with Hallmark.
Thank you, Bart, for those nice words, for your own superb performance, and for just being with us this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, the old year's fast drawing to a close, and the new year is just about ready to lift its head over the horizon of history. All of us, Dee Engelbach, our director-producer, Lynn Murray, who composed and conducted the music, George Wells, our adapter for tonight, and every one of us who is a member of the Hallmark family hopes that for you the new year will bring rich blessings and the fulfillment of your dearest wishes. Next week, we'll present one of the motion picture's most popular actors, Robert Young, in a great story by Louis Brumfield, MacLeod's Folly. And the following week, Helen Hull's Clay-Shuttered Doors, starring Jane Wyman. So until next year, and that is to say next Thursday, this is James Hilton saying good night and a Happy New Year.
Look for Hallmark cards that are sold only in stores that have been carefully selected to give you expert and friendly service. Remember Hallmark cards when you care enough to send the very best. Herbert Marshall will soon be seen with Margaret O'Brien in Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer's The Secret Garden. This is Frank Goss saying good night. This program came to you from the Hallmark Playhouse. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Tuesday night again, time for another pleasant visit with George Burns and Gracie Allen, their guests, Herbert Marshall, Jimmy Cash, and Paul Whiteman and his music. And now meet the people who live in the Burns house, George and Gracie. Well, today Gracie has a luncheon date with her girlfriend, Tootsie Sagwell. We find them now at the Romney Village Gypsy Tea Room. Special luncheon, 45 cents. Tea leaves red.
Oh, isn't this place simply marvelous, Tootsie? So quaint, so gypsy-ish. Yes, and I just love this gypsy food. Isn't it delicious? Oh, wonderful. I've never tasted such corned beef hash.
My pig's knuckles are divine, too.
Pardon, madame. I am the Swami. Would the ladies care to have their fortune told?
Oh, Gracie, laugh. Oh, I love it, too. How much do you charge?
Oh, there is no charge, madame. You have merely to order a cup of our gypsy tea, and I will read the leaves absolutely free.
Oh, wonderful. How much is the tea?
$3 a cup, madam.
$3? Oh, my goodness, we're lucky gypsies don't read coffee grounds.
Here is the tea, madam. Now then, I shall start with the fortune of the young lady.
Me?
Perhaps I should start with the pretty one.
Oh, well, I would have lost anyway.
Come on, Mr. Swami. Tell my fortune.
Very well, madam. I see a man in your life. No, wait. It is not a man. Yes, it is a man. What is it?
Well, isn't that wonderful, Tootsie? He sees George already.
Yeah.
And this man's name, it starts with a G.
Well, now that's uncanny. How on earth did you know?
The leaves are infallible, madam.
Oh, I just can't wait. Read my fortune now, Mrs. Swami.
Very well, madam. Oh, my. I see trouble for you in the future. It is something about taxes, I think. Income taxes.
Why, this man is amazing.
Isn't he, though? And I know he's right because there's a letter from the tax department sticking right out of your handbag.
Oh, Gracie, you know, you're so lucky you're married to George. You don't have to worry about income tax.
I know. Oh, gee, Tootsie, I hope you get married soon so you'll have a dependent, too.
Mrs. Swami, what else do you see in the teacup?
I see someone coming into your life in the very near future, madam. It is a man.
Oh, well, that's nice. A man?
Yes, a handsome man, and well-to-do. He will cross your path soon.
Oh, Tootsie, isn't that thrilling? Isn't that wonderful? What's his name, Mr. Swami?
His name? I cannot see his name.
Oh, just tell me the initials of this handsome man.
Handsome man. H.M.
H.M.
I don't know any H.M., Gracie.
Well, neither do I, Tootsie. Except, oh, gee, could that be possible? You, Tootsie Sagwell, ruling over all those people?
Gracie, what are you talking about?
Everybody bowing? Oh, no, of course I forgot.
What's that?
His Majesty is already married. George, put down that Western magazine and answer me. I said hello.
Oh, howdy, gal. Come into the corral and set a spell.
I wish you'd stop reading cowboy love tales.
But, sweetheart, it's the best magazine on the market.
Well, maybe so, but it's doing awful things to our married life. Gee, I'll never forget when I stopped at that perfume counter at the May Company. You said, "You don't need that there stuff, gal. You already smell like a newborn calf to me."
Well, that's a compliment. Oklahoma Tex always says that to Lucy.
Oh, forget Oklahoma Tex.
Forget Oklahoma Tex?
Forget him.
I'm crazy about him.
You know, Tootsie Sagwell and I had our fortunes told, and a dream man is coming into her life. Isn't that exciting? George, put down that magazine.
Yeah? Okay, I was listening.
Well, what did I say?
That you bought a new hat.
That's not what I said.
Well, it never missed before.
I said I'd been to a fortune teller.
Well, that's nice.
See, George, do you know any wealthy, glamorous, fascinating man whose initials are H.M.?
Yes.
Who?
Harpo Marx.
Oh, George, he wouldn't do. A girl couldn't be happy with a man who just sits there and honks at her. Anybody else?
H.M. Well, Herbert Marshall.
Herbert Marshall. Yeah, he's wealthy, glamorous, and fascinating. Yeah, that's he. Oh, thank you, George.
Gracie, what's this all about?
Oh, he must be the H.M. the fortune teller was talking about. The lover chosen by fate, the dream man.
He told you about a lover? A dream man? Gracie, I always thought that I was
only a man like Herbert Marshall could make up for all those dull, monotonous years.
Well, Gracie, granted,
Oh,
I'm not...
George, you just don't realize that a girl can be starved for romance.
Starved?
Oh, it's marvelous, George, just marvelous. Well, I'll see you later.
Where are you going?
Upstairs to put on my very best dress.
Gracie.
And then I'm coming right down and I'm going over to Herbert Marshall's house and fix up a date.
Gracie, come back here. Please come back. Gracie! Gracie!
George,
Yeah.
I heard you yelling clear out on the porch. What's the matter?
Well, it's Gracie, Bill. She's leaving me. She said I wasn't attractive. She said I wasn't a dream man.
Gracie said that?
Yes.
Well, gee, and imagine those millions of people who think of her as a nitwit.
Don't be funny. My wife is leaving me for Herbert Marshall. Step aside. I'm going upstairs to break this up.
Oh, no, George. That's exactly the wrong thing to do.
It is?
Oh, sure. Now, let me tell you how a friend of mine handled the situation when his wife left him.
How?
Well, he put a notice in the personal column of every newspaper, and it said, "Darling wife, all is forgiven. Come home to hubby, and he'll buy you Swan, the new white floating soap that's purer than the finest Castile soaps. Pure as an angel."
Oh, Bill,
Well, George, it worked. It not only worked for my friend, but 10,000 other wives came home to their husbands. They did.
Bill, you're worse than I am. Look, Bill, I'm going to talk to Gracie.
No, now wait, George. I don't say that plan will get Gracie back from Herbert Marshall. In fact, I don't think it will.
You don't,
Oh, no, you'll have to go further. You'll have to say that because Swan is purer than the finest Castiles, you can use it to help safeguard your hands when you wash dishes or do any other soap and water job that comes along. And those mild, pure Swan suds will really get your work done, too. Just put that in the personal column.
Oh, fine friend you are. Talking about Swan. And my heart is breaking.
Well, I'm sorry, George. And believe me, my heart is breaking for you. Breaking like a bar of Swan, which you know you can break in two with an easy twist of the wrist.
Out.
And use one half in the kitchen for your dishes and house cleaning.
Out. Gee, he drives me crazy.
And the other half in the bathroom for your hands and face or for your tub and shower.
Out. Gee, even Bill hinted that I'm not so attractive anymore. Maybe I don't smile enough. I'll bet very few people know I've got dimples. Well,
Look, George. Do you think he'll be impressed?
Gracie, are you really going through with this?
Well, yes, why shouldn't I?
Well, okay, before you go, answer just one question.
All right.
What's Herbert Marshall got that I haven't got?
Oh, well, George, look, I'm in a hurry now. Let's discuss that sometime when we've got the whole day together.
Paul Whiteman, the boys, and the Six Bits and a Miss woke up singing this morning, and what do you think they had in their mind? It was, "I had the craziest dream."
In my dreams, the strangest things appear. I had the craziest dream last night. Yes, I did. I never dreamt it could be, yet there you were, in love with me. I found your lips close to mine, so I kissed you, and you didn't mind it at all. But when I'm awake, such a break never happens. How long can a guy go on dreaming like I do? If there's a chance that you care, then please say you do. Baby, say it and make my craziest dreams come true.
Gracie has rushed over to Herbert Marshall's house to inform him of his romantic future. She knocks at the door.
Oh, hello, Mr. Marshall. Mr. Marshall, do you remember me?
Of course I do. You're Gracie Allen. How's, oh, it's annoying. I know your husband very well. I can't recall his first name.
Well, it's George.
Yes, so it is. It made me forgetting good old George Allen.
Oh, Mr. Marshall, it's George Burns.
Oh, yes, of course.
I guess you got George confused with my father.
Well, that is a possibility. Won't you, sit down?
Well, thank you. I'm glad you remember me, Mr. Marshall. I don't like to ask favors of strangers unless I know them.
I see. You have a favor to ask?
Well, yes. I went to a fortune teller today, and he said you're Tootsie Sagwell's dream man.
Tootsie Sagwell?
Uh-huh.
Is that a woman?
It certainly is. Here, this is her picture.
I repeat, is that a woman?
Well, just think, out of 100 million men, the fortune teller picked you for Tootsie. Isn't that thrilling?
Blood-curdling. But, Gracie, fortunately for me, I do not believe in fortune tellers.
Well, how can you say that? Why, a fortune teller once told my mother that she was going to take a trip across water.
And did she?
The very next day. She was scrubbing the kitchen floor, and she fell over the pail.
Amazing.
But, Mr. Marshall, you were meant for Tootsie.
No, but Gracie.
Oh, you and Tootsie have so much in common. She's an actress, too.
Really?
Oh, really? At our club last week, she did an impersonation of Gypsy Rose Lee.
Oh, please.
Oh, it was so exciting. The orchestra played the strip polka, and Tootsie came out, and all the men in the audience yelled, "Keep it on! Keep it on!"
Yeah, I can see their point. You know, Grace, I simply can't have a love affair with this Miss Sagwell.
You won't be Tootsie's dream man?
Frankly, I have neither the time nor the courage.
But, Mr. Marshall, the fortune teller...
Gracie, it would take more than a fortune teller to make me go out with a creature like that.
You'd need a more important reason.
I certainly would.
Oh. Well, then I guess I'll have to tell you the truth.
The truth?
Yes. I'll bear my shame. I hoped I'd never have to tell this to anybody.
Good heavens, what is it?
Well, I want you to take Tootsie away from George.
What? You mean George and this Tootsie?
Yes. Oh, please don't tell anybody, especially George.
Well, I can't believe it.
Oh, well, don't blame Tootsie. It's not her fault. George pursues her.
The bounder. How can you live with a man? He's a cad.
Yeah, I know. But he's the cad I'm used to.
No, don't cry, Gracie.
Oh, dear. Nobody will help me.
Wait, Gracie, I'll help you. I'll do it. I'll make love to this Sagwell person if it'll save your home.
Oh, thank you. I'll arrange everything.
Now, goodbye, child. That beast doesn't deserve a sweet, innocent girl like you.
Yeah, I know. Goodbye.
Gracie.
Why, George, what are you doing here?
I followed you. What were you doing in Herbert Marshall's house?
It's a short cut to the market.
A shortcut to the market?
Well, you get me so nervous.
Gracie.
Well, all right, I'll tell you. We just arranged a little date for tonight.
Well, that's settled. I'm going in there and tell that wolf
Oh,
of fingers.
George!
Yes? Oh, it's you.
You're darn right, it's me. My wife was just here. Do you deny it?
Deny it? Why, of course not.
And do you deny you just arranged a date?
No.
But, as one friend to another, what's your opinion of a man who'd break up a home?
George, let's face it, you're a complete and utter stinker.
I'm a stinker?
Unquestionably. I've seen the woman who's involved in this affair, George. Is she worth all this?
She is to me. Why, there isn't another one like her in the whole world.
That I will guarantee. Don't be a fool, George. Give her up.
Never.
But look at it from Grace's side a moment. She's too nice to have her life ruined. She deserves only the best there is.
Brother, are you conceited?
Now, George, what do you see in this Tootsie Sagwell?
Tootsie Sagwell? What's she got to do with it?
Well, aren't you in love with Tootsie?
In love with Tootsie? No. I go steady with Boris Karloff.
No, but Gracie said she wanted me to take Tootsie away from you. That's why she arranged a date for us.
Gracie arranged a date for you and Tootsie?
Yes.
Oh, now I get it. This is another scheme of Gracie's to help Tootsie. You see, Tootsie is dying to get a husband.
Well, she's insane to ask a volunteer. She ought to try selective service. Anyway, this lets me out of the date.
Now, wait a minute, Bart. I can't spoil this date for Gracie. She'll never forgive me. You've got to go through with it.
But, George, look at that picture.
Bart, it's only one night out of your life, and it'll save my neck.
Oh, well, if it means that much to you.
Oh, thanks, Bart. I knew you'd do it. See you tonight.
You don't suppose Tootsie will make love to me, do you?
Well, she might.
Oh, murder. Now I know what a commando has to go through.
Oh.
Well, Jimmy Cash has cooked himself up a mighty tasty arrangement of I Cared a Little Bit Less. And here it is, Okay, Jimmy.
Maybe I haven't a chance. Maybe you don't even care. Baby, is this a romance or a one-sided love affair? I wouldn't feel so lonely for someone I love and adore if I cared a little bit less and you cared a little bit more. I wouldn't cry my heart out for kisses I miss at your door if I cared a little bit less and you cared a little bit more. It all would be so simple if you were me and I were you. You'd realize what love is and you could see my point of view. Oh, darling, time's a-wasting when heaven is only next door. 'Cause I'll never care any less. Won't you care a little bit
Well, Tootsie ought to be here any minute, Mr. Marshall. Aren't you thrilled?
I've got goose pimples, if that's what you mean.
Oh, I hear footsteps on the walk. She's here.
Now, Bart, act like you're glad to see her.
George, I'm as hammy as the neck, but frankly, I'm not that good an actor.
Here she is.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Well, I must say you're better looking than your picture, Tootsie.
Huh?
Oh, no, that isn't Tootsie. That's Bill Goodwin. You can tell him apart easily, Mr. Marshall. Tootsie's taller.
Oh, I see.
Bill, this is Mr. Herbert Marshall.
Oh, how do you do? Herbert Marshall? George, isn't this the wolf who's trying to wreck your home?
Well, Bill, it's all
now,
right.
quiet, George.
Well, but
this is what friends are for, to handle these affairs of honor. Mr. Marshall, I challenge you to a duel with pistols.
Well, I better warn you, I'm the best pistol shot in the state.
Oh. Well, I challenge you with swords.
I happen to be an expert swordsman.
Oh. Well, I challenge you to find a purer soap than Swan. Women have long considered Castile soaps the standard of purity, and Swan is even purer than the finest Castiles. Money can't buy a purer soap.
Look, Bill, you don't have to worry about Herbert Marshall taking Gracie away from
Oh,
me. You see, the
George,
whole
I'm
thing-
not thinking of you.
Oh.
You can find another woman, possibly. I'm thinking of the babies.
Babies?
What babies?
All babies, Mr. Marshall. Swan's great for bathing them. Because after all, if Swan is purer than the finest Castiles, well, it's bound to be kind of even a baby's tender skin.
Bill, Herbert Marshall bathes very few babies.
Well, all right.
Probably doesn't bathe over 3 or 4 babies a year.
Well, all right.
He
George,
and Ronald Coleman put together.
Well, all right.
And you can throw in Lawton.
But remember, if Swan is kind to a baby's tender skin, then it must be swell for anybody's hands and face, anybody's complexion, anybody's bath or shower.
Mr. Goodwin, a few moments ago you were talking about a duel. What happened?
Duel? Oh, yes, forget it. I accept your apology. Well, goodbye, Mr. Marshall.
Ah, eccentric fellow, isn't he?
Yes, we love him, too. Oh, Gunter, I wish Tootsie would get here. You must be all on edge, Mr. Marshall.
I definitely am.
She's probably having trouble with the new makeup I suggested for her nose. Blue, green, yellow crayon.
On her nose?
Well, yes. I got the idea from an article on camouflage. Those colors will make a 16-inch gun fade into the background.
Believe me, Bart, it'll be an improvement.
This must be Tootsie now. Come in. Gracie, darling. Tootsie Sagwell.
Oh, Gracie, you said you had a surprise for me. What is it?
Well, here it is. Your dream man, H.M., Herbert Marshall.
Herbert Marshall? Oh, he's beautiful.
George, I think I'm about to faint.
Buck up, kid.
Oh, how do you do, Mr. Marshall? I'm so glad you're mine, you lovely, lovely man.
Miss Sagwell, please put me down.
Do I have to, Gracie?
Well, Tootsie, I guess you'd better. Here, put him on the sofa.
All right, there. You comfy, Herbert?
Do you realize you're sitting on my lap?
Oh, sure.
Oh, George, turn out all the lights. I just know they want to snuggle.
No. I beg of you, don't turn them off. No.
No, leave them on. My dream man and I want to look at each other. Look at me, Herbert.
George.
Yes, Bart.
You may turn them off.
You're safer this way.
Miss Sagwell, do you realize you're squeezing me very hard?
Oh, sure.
Well, I wish you wouldn't. It's rather warm in this room, isn't it?
Kiss me, Herbert.
I'm getting warmer. George, is this house heated by an oil burner?
Yes, it is, Bart.
Kiss me, Herbert.
George, you should really cut your thermostat down to a temperature of 65 degrees. The government is asking all homeowners to do that in order to prevent a more serious shortage of fuel oil this winter.
Well, that's right. I'll do that. Anything else you'd like to mention?
No, that's all.
Kiss me, Herbert.
As I was saying, you should put the thermostat as low as possible at night and leave it there until morning.
Kiss me, Herbert.
And keep it low in the daytime if the family is going to be out.
Kiss her, Herbert.
And never heat any bedrooms.
Kiss me, Herbert.
And you can save 10% of your fuel by drawing all your window shades and drapes at sundown.
Herbert?
Yes, Miss Sagwell?
That's enough courtship. Let's get married.
George, may I see you a moment, old man?
Sure, Bart. What is it?
George, you've simply got to get me out of this. That woman, and I use the term loosely, has a gleam in her eye that I don't like.
Well, gee, Bart, you're an actor. Make up an exit.
Well, I'll try. Oh, Miss Sagwell.
Yes, Angel Pie.
Oh, me. Miss Sagwell, before we go any further, there is something you must know about me.
What?
I have a past, Miss Sagwell. I have lived.
Is that all? Oh, it should happen to me.
No, you don't understand. It all happened when I was but a lad. What did I know of the city or its evil ways? Then she came into my life.
Who?
She.
Oh, her.
Yes. It wasn't my fault, I swear it. How was I to know there was anything more than harmless 7-Up in that glass?
Oh, she didn't.
You don't know her.
Who?
Her.
Oh, she.
Yes. Gad, how I hated myself in the morning.
Women are beasts.
Yes, they are.
Well, you'll never find a nicer beast than Tootsie.
Oh, Herbert, forget your past. All I want to hear are those 3 little words that tell me how you feel about me.
Very well.
Say them.
Goodbye, Miss Sagwell.
Herbert! Mr. Marshall! Marshall, come back.
Stop it. Herbert Marshall never had any idea of marrying Tootsie. And goodbye.
Oh, dear. I don't know what. Oh, don't cry, Tootsie. There isn't any reason to cry. I can't help it. I can't get a feller. Fortune tellers are never wrong, Tootsie. Someday your HM will come along.
I won't even be here if he does. He'll probably throw me in jail on account of my income tax.
Oh, no, they won't, Tootsie. Let's see that letter from Washington.
Yes. I was just born under an unlucky star, that's all.
Tootsie, he's come into your life, HM. The fortune teller was right. Huh? Well, look at the signature on this letter. Henry Morgenthau.
George and Gracie will be back in just a second. So all I have time to say is this. When you buy Swan, you not only get a soap that's purer than the finest Castile soaps, you get a soap that gives you all the suds you need for any soap and water job in the house. Faster than other white floating soaps. Use Swan for the dishes. Use it for your hankies, hose, and undies. Use it in place of easily wasted package soaps. Use it in place of expensive toilet soaps. Yes, and use Swan knowing that it really is purer than the finest Castiles. Well, here they are, George and Gracie.
Gracie, this is no time of the night to bother Herbert Marshall.
But this is important. Hello.
Oh, no, not again.
Well, I just wanted to tell you that poor Tootsie can't sleep a wink.
Well, surely I'm not responsible for that.
Oh, yes, you are. You left our house in such a hurry you forgot your derby hat.
Well?
Well, Tootsie's keeping it under her pillow.
Come on.
The makers of Swan, the new white floating soap, join George and Gracie in inviting you to tune in again next week, same time, when their special guest will be that bad man of the movies, Akim Tamirov. Remember, Swan also brings you another of radio's top shows, Tommy Riggs and Betty Lou, over another network. Now, till next week, this is Bill Goodwin saying, well, I, Swan, how about you? Good night.
Yes, it's Sealtest Variety Theater with Henry Russell and his orchestra, the Crew Chiefs Quartet, the Dean of the Royal Family of the Theater, Lionel Barrymore, and one of radio's brightest comedy stars, Gary Moore. And here she is, our gal Thursday, the singing star of Variety Theater, Dorothy Lamour.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and hello, everyone. Welcome to our Sealtest Variety Theater. I feel really wonderful tonight, and who wouldn't with two such loyal and talented friends standing by as Lionel Barrymore and Gary Moore.
Well, hello, Dorothy, my child. A happy new year to you.
Well, thanks, Lionel. I think that calls for a kiss.
Oh, so that's how it works, huh?
Oh, hiya, Dottie, old girl. Happy New Year. Well, how's about a kiss?
Well, Gary, after all, that is...
It's no use, Gary. You can't get away with that sort of thing until you get older.
You know, I think maybe you're right. Hello, Dorothy, my child. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you, and a very happy New Year to you.
That's all? Well, I guess that's that.
That's the trouble with you young fellas nowadays. Why, son, when I was your age, if I saw a pretty girl I wanted to kiss, I just went right up and asked no questions and kissed her.
Well, didn't you get slapped in the face?
Yeah, sure, but I got an awful lot of kisses.
I don't think we have to worry about Gary. He's not so shy.
Oh, that's not true, Dottie. You know, as a matter of fact, I spent a very sheltered childhood. Why, I was 24 years old before I went out with the opposite sex.
Was your mother that strict?
No, she just wouldn't tell me which was the opposite sex. I don't know. I guess I've outgrown my adolescence. I meet so many people since I'm the quizmaster on Take It or Leave It. It's given me more assurance.
Well, how about you, Lionel? Did playing Dr. Gillespie have any effect upon you?
Oh, it certainly did. After portraying a doctor for so many years, I took it so seriously that if a friend sneezed, I said Gesundheit and send him a bill for medicine.
How about you, Dottie, and all those jungle pictures you played in?
Oh, don't remind me about it. For years, I couldn't sit down to dinner unless there was a monkey at the table. But what about that quiz show you're doing, Gary? Does that have any effect on your personal life?
Well, sometimes, yeah. Like I've been going with a girl here recently, and the other night her father called me in and he said, "Young man, for 3 years now you've been kissing, hugging, and smooching with my daughter. I want to ask you a few questions."
Oh, what did you say?
All right, sir. Which category do you choose?
Thank you, Mr. Barrymore, Mr. Gary Moore, and Miss Lamore. It's going to sound like the more the merrier. If you'll stand by for just a moment, we'd like to tell you about a special treat.
Get the best, get Sealtest.
Are you tired of 1948? Or just plain tired? Well, here's a tip on how to feel fine in 49. Drink more milk, at least a pint a day for adults, a quart a day for youngsters. Milk has what it takes to help give you zip and zing. Plenty of health-building vitamins, minerals, and proteins. And how you'll enjoy your good health builder when it's Sealtest homogenized vitamin D milk. It's creamy, rich, and smooth, packed with delicious farm-fresh flavor. Drink lots of Sealtest homogenized vitamin D milk. It'll help you feel fine in 49.
Get the best, get Sealtest.
And now Dottie Lamore, our own pretty baby, steps to the microphone as she bids goodbye to old man 1948. She welcomes young little 1949 and hopes that he'll be a pretty baby.
Everybody loves a baby, that's why I'm in love with you. Pretty baby, pretty baby. And I'd like to be your sister, brother, dad, and mother, too. Pretty baby, won't you come and let me rock you in my cradle of love? And we'll cuddle all the time.
Cuddle all the time.
Oh, I want a loving baby, and it might as well be you. Pretty baby of mine.
Everybody loves a baby, that's why I'm so in love with you.
Ooh, baby, oh, baby.
If you'll only say you love me, we could start right in pitching some woo.
Baby, ah, baby, won't you come and let me rock you in my cradle of love, and we'll cuddle all the time.
Cuddle all the time.
Oh, I want a loving baby, and it might as well be you. Pretty baby of, pretty baby of, pretty baby of mine. Each year, a bright young comedian flashes across the radio horizon, and I can think of no one who keeps on shining as brightly and as consistently as our first guest star tonight. America's most unpredictable quizmaster, the star of Take It or Leave It, Gary Moore.
Thank you very much, Dorothy, and good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to be with you tonight. And I hope that immediately following the program, each and every one of you will rush right out and buy yourself an Eversharp pen.
Oh, now, wait, Gary, you're on a different program tonight.
Huh? Excuse me. Friends, rush right out and buy an Eversharp pen and fill it with Sealtest ice cream. This will come in very handy when you're writing to people named Cone. But, Dottie... Honey, I want to wish you a somewhat belated Merry Christmas.
Well, thanks, Gary. You know I love Christmas, and I'm really sorry it's all over.
Yeah, I am, too, but I don't know, at least it'll give my bankroll a rest. I don't know, there seem to be so many occasions for buying presents nowadays. There's Mother's Day when you go out and buy a present for Mother. Then there's Father's Day when you go out and buy a present for Father. Then there's Christmas Day when you go out and buy a present for everybody. And I'm inventing a brand new holiday that I think is going to be very popular. I'm going to call it Nothing Day. You just sit there and hold on to your money.
You can count me in on that one. But anyway, Gary, I do want to thank you for coming to visit me on this, our last program of 1948.
Oh, Dottie, my little flower. And I use the word flower in reference to your stems. I'm happy to be here, really I am. And if you don't mind, I would like to take advantage of your microphone to perform an annual duty of mine. The presentation of the annual Gary Moore Awards to the outstanding people of the past year.
Oh, I'd be thrilled. These are the outstanding people of 1948?
Yes, Dorothy, 1948. The year that will forever go down in history as the year between 1947 and 1949. Seems to make sense. But, Dorothy, as I look back over the 12 months just past, it seems to me that we should be most grateful to the men of science. Men like Albert Einstein, J. Robert Oppenheimer, Dr. Stafford Warren, and above all to the greatest scientist of them all, McMeechin Motzitrotz.
McMeechin Motzitrotz?
Yes, Dorothy, he was the man who finally discovered why a watermelon has so many seeds.
Now, there's a contribution to mankind. Tell me, why does a watermelon have so many seeds?
Well, because it can't go... Very simple when you think about it, you know.
Well, science also made great strides in producing artificial products. I read where a scientist down south actually got milk from a peanut.
No.
Yes, sir, milk from a peanut. What do you think of that?
He must have used an awfully low stool. Enough about science, Dottie. How about your own racket, motion pictures?
Ah, yes, the cinema.
In 1948, the movies were noted for many great pictures and many great performances. And above all, it was a year of strange titles. I particularly like those pictures with the one-word titles like Shocked, Lured, Pursued, Possessed. And next year, David O. Selznick will present the greatest of them all, Pooped. That's co-starring Tyrone No Power and Andy Hartley. And in my opinion, the award for the best movie of the year must go to that super epic, Riding the Range. A 3-bell picture. One of us kids has got to go back to school. And our feature award of the evening goes to that sterling young actress, Miss Injured Bird Dog, for her memorable portrayal of Schnook in the picture Jewel in the Smog. We are honored to have Miss Bird Dog with us tonight, and she will reenact that famous part for us now. Go ahead, Miss Bird Dog.
I promise never to leave you again, Chumley. I promise, I promise, I promise, I promise, I promise, I promise, I promise.
And so we pick Miss Bird Dog as the most promising actress of the year. My survey also shows that in 1948, the movies made more extensive use of radio advertising than ever before. All over your radio dial, you could hear dramatic advertisements of coming pictures, such as this announcement concerning the picture, The Three Mrs. Vandelbaums.
I'm Cynthia. I didn't want to lose Rodney's love. I'm Imogene. I didn't want Cynthia to have Rodney.
I'm Rodney. I didn't want to make this picture in the first place. And I like that one. It's so true, you know. And in conclusion, we would like to make an award to one of the behind-the-scene workers in motion pictures. And for this honor, we have chosen this year Miss Gertrude Armentrude. Miss Armentrude, will you tell us what your contribution was to the cinema?
Certainly. My contribution to motion pictures was the care and promotion of better diction.
A better diction. In other words, you feel that proper speech is important in film work, huh?
Well, naturally. Is it not your conviction that the proper inflection and pronunciation are a necessitation in the creation of the characterization? Or have you no ambition to follow tradition?
Yes, I love to follow tradition. In fact, I feel you must follow tradition to cat you, the rat you, or call you. Don't you? But in closing, Miss Armentrout, have you any little thought to leave with us?
Yes, a little poem that I wrote.
A poem? Well, isn't that nauseating? I apologize. How does it go, this poem, Miss Armentrout?
I thank you one and all for your very kind attention, and my appreciation is more than I can mention. In taking my departure, just please remember this. I am very fortunate to have met up with you.
And on this note of culture, friends, I close my Gary Moore Awards for 1948. And if each of those people whose names I have mentioned tonight will get in touch with me immediately following the program, I will be more than honored to give each of them a solid gold... Funny, there seems to be a page missing here. Well, good night, friends. Thank you very much.
Years ago, they said prosperity was just around the corner. 2 years ago, they said television was just around the corner. But this morning, I heard the crew chief say, love is just around the corner.
Love's just around the corner, any cozy little corner. Love's just around the corner, when I'm around you. I'm a sentimental mourner. I couldn't be forlorner when you keep me on a corner, just waiting for you. Venus de Milo was noted for her charm, but strictly between us, you're cuter than Venus.
And what's more, I've got all.
Let's cuddle in a corner, any cozy little corner. A new year's just around the corner, and I'm around you.
When it comes to New Year's resolutions, most of us have the same trouble. We make them and break them. But there's one resolution that never has and never will be broken. I'm talking about the Sealtest Pledge, a pledge to you of top quality and purity. You can depend on this when you buy Sealtest milk, because it must meet exceptionally high standards for purity and quality before it can bear the famous Sealtest seal. So ask for Sealtest milk every time. And for extra goodness, smooth, creamy rich flavor, make it Sealtest homogenized vitamin D milk. Always.
Get the best, get Sealtest.
There are certain words that are synonymous to the word theater, such as glamorous, exciting, thrilling. But I can think of only one word that for years has embodied all these adjectives, and that word is Barrymore. And here he is, Mr. Lionel Barrymore. Well, Lionel, the Sealtest magic carpet is out, ready to whisk us back to a New Year's Eve of many years ago, long before you were mayor of the town. Won't you climb aboard?
After you, my dear.
Carlton, will you set the scene, please?
Right, Dottie. It is New Year's Eve at the turn of the century. Our hero is calling for his best girl to take her out for the evening. He rings the bell. The door is opened. The best girl's father speaks.
Happy New Year, son.
Happy New Year, Mr. McClinton.
Well, let me take your hat and coat. Muffler? Umbrella?
Gloves?
Rubbers? Earmuffs? Oh, by the way, young man, how's the weather out?
Like a summer's night.
Like... Well, that's good. I better tell Dorothy you're here. Dorothy?
Yes, Papa.
Lionel is here.
Papa, can I see you for a minute?
Yes, dear. What is it? Will you excuse me for a moment?
Oh, I'm nervous, Papa. I don't know exactly how to tell you, but...
You can tell me, daughter. After all, I'm your papa.
Oh, I can't find my bustle.
You can't find your bustle?
No.
I never saw a girl lose things the way you do. A bustle. If you didn't have your head attached, you'd lose that, too.
Well, I suppose I'd better go down. Lionel, good evening.
Good evening, Dorothy.
May I offer you a drink, Lionel?
Well, I don't know.
Sarsaparilla?
Oh, no, I have to drive.
Well, how about a lemon ice?
Oh, that would be just splendid. Isn't New Year's Eve exciting?
Just think. Tonight will be the beginning of a new century. I wonder what the next 50 years will bring.
Well, I understand that a fella just built an auto the other day called the Apperson Jackrabbit that goes 15 miles an hour.
15? Well, I don't believe it.
And not only that, but there are reports that one fella got his car up to 60 miles an hour.
Where was that?
At a place called Hollywood and Vine.
Oh, Lionel, dear, look at the time.
Yes. I think we'd better get going. I have a handsome cab waiting outside.
Are we really going to Reisenweber's, Lionel?
Yes, my dear, yes. I understand they have a dinner there now of shrimp cocktail, oysters on the half-shell, crab consommé, filet mignon, asparagus, hollandaise sauce, cherries jubilee.
Are you sure you can afford it, Lionel?
Well, it's New Year's Eve. And what good is a man if he can't spend 65 cents?
Oh, there's Reisenweber's now.
Driver, here we are.
Yes, sir. Whoa, McKinley.
Here you are, driver. 50 cents.
Oh, thank you, sir. And here's your change.
Keep it. Buy yourself a drink.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir, but I don't drink.
Well, then buy your horse a drink.
Sorry, but he's on the wagon, too.
Oh, Lionel, it's so exciting being here at Reisenweber's with all its glamour. Lionel? Do you know what orchestra is playing here?
It's a new one that was just formed last week.
Really? What's the name of it?
Phil Spitalny and his one-girl orchestra.
Oh, isn't it fascinating to think that we're sitting here and it's almost 1901?
Yeah.
That in 50 years from now, our parts will be played by Betty Grable and Dan Daly.
It's almost 12. In just a minute, it'll be New Year.
It's New Year's Eve, Lionel. 1901. Just think, a new century is born.
Just think what the new century will bring forth. Invention, science, ideas. Great men will be born. Nations will rise and fall. I wonder what they'll be saying 50 years from now.
I think I know what they'll be saying.
What?
All I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth. For years, folks all over the world have been singing Auld Lang Syne when they want to bid farewell to the old year. Well, there's another word which not only means goodbye, but also hello. And so, in farewell to 1948, and in greeting to 1949, I can think of no song more fitting than Aloha, oh, aloha, oh. Thou charming one who dwells among the bowers, one fond embrace before we now depart, until we meet again.
Donnie, honey, thanks so much for having me over. It was an awful lot of fun. And before I go, let me wish you and everybody a very happy New Year.
Thanks, Gary. Please come back again soon, and Happy New Year.
You know, Dorothy, I've seen a lot of years come and go, and I've heard a lot of people saying the world is going to pot. Well, most of those people are gone, but the old world is still spinning, except for some growing pains every once in a while. She's getting better all the time. And I got a hunch that 1949's going to be the beginning of a grown-up world filled with grown-up people who are ready to work and live in peace from here on.
Thou charming one who dwells among the bowers, one fond embrace before we now depart, until we meet again.
Sealtest brings you season's greetings and some of the best eating you ever enjoyed. For instance, vanilla fudge nut ice cream, a scrumptious dish from Sealtest. Creamy vanilla ice cream chock full of crunchy nuts with ribbons of rich chocolate nut fudge winding all through it. Something different and delicious. Here's another special Sealtest treat, strawberry dessert cakes. Mighty handy because they're individual servings, and mighty tempting, too. A delightful combination of cake with strawberries, covered over with rich Sealtest vanilla ice cream, sprinkled with toasty macaroons, and topped to festive perfection with a dash of real whipped cream. Your family's sure to enjoy Sealtest strawberry dessert cakes. Treat them to Sealtest vanilla fudge nut ice cream, too. And make this resolution for a taste-happy New Year. Always
get the best, get Sealtest.
And here again is your mistress of ceremonies, Dorothy Lamour.
Lionel Barrymore and Gary Moore, thank you so much for signing our guest book at Sealtest Variety Theater. And what better to start the new year than knowing that your appearance tonight contributes to a fine cause, the establishment of the American Federation of Radio Artists Welfare Insurance Fund. And so until next year, when our guest stars will be that man with the low IQ and the high hooper, Ed Gardner, and one of Hollywood's outstanding film stars, Cornell Wilde. This is Dorothy Lamour saying keep well.
Excuse me, Dottie, for breaking in, but how about that royal welcome you want to extend to the newest member of the Sealtest family?
Well, you didn't think I was going to forget that, did you, Carlton? Especially when there's another Dorothy involved. So to my good friend Dorothy Dix, who next week will begin her daytime radio show, Dorothy Dix on the Air, all the gang at the Sealtest Variety Theater would like to say the best of luck in the world, and we'll be listening. And now until next week, this is Dorothy Lamour saying keep well, keep happy, and keep listening.
Lionel Barrymore returns to the air next week as star of his own radio program, Mayor of the Town. Mr. Barrymore appeared through arrangement with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, producers of the all-star Technicolor musical Words and Music, based on the lives and music of Rodgers and Hart. Continuity for Sealtest Variety Theater is written by Howard Harris and Sidney Zelinka, and direction is by Glenn Hall Taylor. Tune in next Thursday at this same time when Sealtest Milk and Ice Cream again presents Sealtest Variety Theater, starring Dorothy Lamour, and as our guests, Ed Gardner and Cornell Wilde. Sealtest Incorporated and associate companies are divisions of National Dairy Products Corporation. This is Carlton Cadell speaking.
This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
Now, as gunshots echo across the wind-swept, snow-covered reaches of the wild Northwest, Quaker Puffed Wheat and Quaker Puffed Rice, the breakfast cereal shot from guns, present the challenge of the Yukon. It's Yukon King, swiftest and strongest lead dog of the Northwest, blazing the trail for Sergeant Preston of the Northwest Mounted Police in his relentless pursuit of lawbreakers. One king, one whiskey. Gold discovered in the Yukon. A stampede to the Klondike and the wild race for riches. Back to the days of the gold rush. With Quaker Puffed Wheat and Quaker Puffed Rice, bringing you the adventures of Sergeant Preston and his wonder dog Yukon King as they meet the challenge of the Yukon. When you get up in the morning, there's nothing like a breakfast you really go for. Like, for instance, delicious Quaker Puffed Wheat or Quaker Puffed Rice with milk or cream and fruit. These giant, ready-to-serve grains of wheat or rice are premium grains. They're shot from guns, puffed to perfection, exploded up to 8 times normal size to make them crisp and tender. Quaker Puffed Wheat or Quaker Puffed Rice shot from guns is good for you, too. Makes a thrifty deluxe family breakfast. Tomorrow morning, start the new year off with a bang. Enjoy this breakfast treat, Quaker Puffed Rice or Quaker Puffed Wheat. Frank Weaver and his young wife Amy had staked a small claim on the Bonanza Creek a few miles from Dawson City. Frank had worked hard at his claim, but as time went on and the winter approached, he became more and more discouraged. He had persuaded Amy to come to Dawson from Seattle, taking the small bank account they had to make the trip and to pay expenses until the claim began to pay off. But so far, the money had dwindled, and the take from the claim had been extremely little. One evening at supper, after Frank had put in a hard day working the claim, Amy tried to encourage him.
Winter is setting in fast, Amy. I thought by this time I'd have struck enough pay dirt to carry us over.
We'll get through somehow, Frank. Oh, I'm sure that before long you'll make a strike.
We've been telling ourselves that for several months, honey. But I'm beginning to think this claim just isn't any good.
Now, don't think that. Others near here have made their claims pay. And sooner or later, I know you'll make this one pay. Have some more soup, dear?
Oh, thanks, because I'm not very hungry. Anyway, we've had that same warmed-over soup for the past 2 days. Oh, what's the use of fooling ourselves? I was a fool to bring you up here. To use what little money we had to do it.
Don't talk that way, Frank. After all, my place is with you, no matter where it might be.
Yeah, but you don't seem to understand, honey. We've run out of money. Food is high. with the winter breaking up.
Frank, perhaps we could get credit at the trading post to carry us until the claim does pay off.
Yeah, I thought of that, but we're not very well known. And they know I haven't been getting much of anything from the claim here.
It wouldn't hurt to ask anyway. Why don't you take the dog team right now and go into Dawson to the trading post?
Well, if they should give me credit and I couldn't pay later, we'd lose the dog team. And the claim, too.
You've got to face it, dear. We certainly can't keep the dogs if we can't feed them. Or ourselves. It's a chance we'll have to take. And then hope for the best.
Well, all right, honey. I'll go to the trading post and see what I can do. If they won't give me credit, well, I guess the only other thing will be to try to sell what we have and get back to Seattle somehow.
Frank hitched up the dog team and set out for town. Later that evening, he stopped in front of the trading post.
Oh!
Frank stood for a moment, hesitating. He could see several men standing around the big stove inside as he gazed through the window.
Well, here goes. If I don't get credit, we're sunk.
Hi there, mister. What can I do for you?
I want to get quite a lot of supplies.
Sure. Now, if you just give me your list, I'll get them together for you in a jiffy.
But first, I can't pay right now. If you'd trust me until my claim pays off better...
So that's it.
But you'll get your money just as soon as the claim...
Now, look, lad, it isn't that I'm hard-hearted or anything like that, mind you. But the first year of the rush, I got took for plenty by Chichacos who promised to pay me off when they made a strike. Having myself to think of, too, I've made it a policy not to stake anyone who doesn't have a paying claim.
Look, my name's Frank Weaver. My wife and I have claim 20 up on Bonanza. We have a dog team and a sled and a cabin up there. If you could see your way clear in our case...
Sure, and I know where number 20 is located. It's one of them secondary claims back off the creek on the hillside.
That's right.
Nary a one of them claims there have paid off, my lad. Sorry as I am to say it. It'd be better for you to cash in for the little you'd get on your dog team and cabin right now and save yourself a lot of grief.
But winter's setting in, and we couldn't get out of the territory even if we wanted to, especially if I sold the dog team.
Sure, and a good many will find themselves in the same predicament, Weaver.
Well, I feel sure if you let me have the supplies, I'll make that claim pay off.
Sorry, my lad, but I just can't do it. 'Tis several useless cabins on bad claims I have on my hands already for unpaid accounts. Now, if a bit of grub to last you the day would help, I'll let you have it. Well,
I'm not asking for charity. Just forget the whole thing, mister. I'll find a way to get the supplies I want, one way or another.
With discouragement in his heart and his mind torn with frustration and unreasonable anger, Frank left the trading post and approached his dog team.
It's no use.
For a few minutes, Frank stood near his sled, dreading to start back home with the disheartening news. As he stood there, undecided what to do, a heavy-set man came out of the trading post.
Hello, Weaver.
What?
My name's Jeff Steele.
Hi. How do you know my name? I don't remember meeting you before, Steele.
Well, you haven't met before. I happened to overhear you talking to Mike Quinn, the storekeeper.
Oh.
And from what I heard, I figure things are kind of tough for you right now, aren't they?
That's right.
Well, if you think you'd be interested in making some cash, maybe I can help you do it.
Well, just what would I have to do to get the cash you mentioned?
Well, I'd like to hire you and your dog team for a few hours tonight, that's all, but I'll pay you well for it.
Mm-hmm. What do you want to hire me and the dog team for?
Well, there's a friend of mine over in that cafe. I want you to take him and me a few miles up Wolf Creek a little later tonight. We have some business up there with an old prospector friend of ours. What do you say?
Well, it's late.
Well, it doesn't make any difference. We'll pay you $50 to take us there and back.
All right, I'll do it.
Good. Meet us in front of the cafe in about, half hour. I'll see you then.
Shortly after Frank and Steele separated in front of the trading post, Sergeant Preston and his dog King came up the street and entered.
On, King.
Well, now, that is good to see you, Sergeant. And King, too. You haven't been around the post for 2 weeks or so.
No, Mike. King and I just got in from Selkirk. I find I'm out of coffee, so I dropped over to get some.
Coffee it is, Sergeant. Yeah. You sure that's all for now?
That's all I can think of, Mike. My credit's still good?
That it is for anything in the place. Say, sure, just a short while ago, a lad came in asking for credit through the winter.
Huh?
Sorry I was to have to turn him down.
Anyone I know?
Well, that I can't say. His name was, let me see. Oh, yes, Weaver. Weaver, he said it was. Frank Weaver. Had a claim up on the Bonanza. One of them hillside claims that never seemed to pay off.
I remember a young fellow and his wife who have a claim up there. Seems to me that was his name.
Like as not, it's the same chap. Dark, nice-looking. Said him and his wife have number 20 claim.
Yes, that is the same fellow.
My conscience has been bothering me since he left. Poor lad, he was that upset, he went out and slammed the door behind him.
See?
He said they were out of money, but he still seemed sure he'd make a go of it if they could get through the winter. Sure, and he looked so desperate when he left, saying he'd get supplies one way or another. It set me to thinking that it did.
They must be very hard hit.
Yeah, that's what I think. Do you think you'll be heading out that trail anytime soon, Sergeant?
Why, Mike?
Well, now, if you do, stop by and tell Weaver I've changed my mind.
Oh?
To come on in and get the supplies he needs on credit. The look on his face will haunt me all winter if I don't give him the credit he asked for.
I'm glad you changed your mind, Mike. I promise you won't lose by it. Hank and I will go up there in the morning and give them the news.
Good. That'll be a relief to my mind.
I'm sure it'll be a relief to them, too. Good night, Mike.
Good night.
Come on, King.
Meantime, Jeff Steele had entered the cafe and sat talking to a short, stocky man.
Yeah, I've got a perfect setup for pulling that job you spoke of earlier, Shorty. That is, if it'll be worthwhile, like you said.
Look, like I told you, I happen to know that old prospector Jim Nason up on Wolf Creek has got plenty of gold right there in his cabin. I heard him boasting about it in here today.
Yeah, it ought to be worth going after, then.
Yeah, it would be. But how do we make a getaway without a dog team, Jess? We try to buy one, people know we must be fixing to leave Dawson.
Don't worry, I have that all fixed.
Oh, yeah? How?
Hey, look, a newcomer, Chichaco, named Weaver, was in a trading post a short time ago trying to get credit. He was turned down and got upset. As he went out, he said he'd get supplies one way or another.
Well?
I followed him out and made a deal for him to take us up Wolf Creek with his dog team and sled. Told him we'd pay him $50 if he'd go tonight.
$50?
Yeah, don't worry. He's dope enough to think we're going up to see a friend on business. He'll have a surprise coming when we get out there. Come on. He's going to meet us out front, and it's just about time.
Yeah, but if that fellow Weaver finds out what we're going there for, Jess...
I've got everything planned out, so you don't have to worry about a thing. Now, come on, let's get going.
Jess Steele and his friend Shorty left the cafe and found Frank Weaver waiting outside with his dog team as he had promised. The three men set out along the well-beaten Wolf Creek Trail. The cold, gusty wind swirled the light, dry top snow in white, dusty clouds behind them as they moved along, obliterating any tracks they might have made. Sometime later, they stopped before a remote cabin.
Oh there. Oh. Well, Weaver, this is a place. Our business is rather private, so I wonder if you'd mind waiting outside for about 5 or 10 minutes.
Why, I guess I can stand it. If you're sure you won't be any longer than that.
Oh, we won't. Don't worry.
Come on, Shorty. Let's get inside and get this over with.
Frank watched as the two men went to the cabin and entered without knocking. For a few minutes, he heard nothing but the wind. Then his attention was attracted by the voice of an old man raised in fear and protest inside the cabin.
What's that?
A moment later, Frank was startled by the sound of a muffled shot.
That shot was inside the cabin. I better go see what happened.
As Frank reached the door, it suddenly opened. Steele barred his way, but not before he saw a sight inside that gripped him with sudden fear.
Get back to the sled, Weaver.
Hey, that old man lying on the floor. You shot him.
That's right, we did. Now, get back to the sled and make it fast.
What is this, anyhow?
You like this, says, or you might get a bullet, too. Now get going.
Put the sack of gold that's on the blanket on the sled, Shorty.
Sure.
You're right on the sled. I'll follow along behind the Chichaco and have my gun handy.
Hey, now I get it. You took that prospector's gold and then murdered him.
You're getting a little smarter now, Weaver. Now start the dog team and continue straight ahead.
But that's going away from Dawson. I have to get back. My place is on Bonanza Creek.
Don't be stupid. You're not going back. We're heading for Selkirk, and you're going with us. After the threats you made in the trading post to get supplies one way or another, they'll blame you for what happened when you turn up missing. Now get going.
We'll continue our story in just a moment. Say, fellas and girls, it won't be long now. I mean until the new year 1949 is here.
I am here.
Huh? Great Scott. Where did you come from?
Well, I guess I shouldn't really be here yet.
Why, you're a baby. Gosh, you haven't got any clothes on. That is hardly. I mean, except for that big ribbon you're wearing.
See what it says on it?
Sure do. It says 1949.
That's right. That's who I am.
Oh, so you're the new baby New Year.
Right.
Well, you're a bit early, aren't you? Roughly by about some 6 3/4 hours.
I was just checking up.
Oh.
On New Year's resolutions. Made any?
Me? Well, you bet. And I was about to tell all the fellas and girls about a resolution everyone ought to make.
What's that?
It's to eat a good, nourishing breakfast every morning the year round.
Oh, that's a swell idea.
It's so easy to keep, too. Especially if you include big heaping bowlfuls of swell-tasting Quaker puffed wheat or Quaker puffed rice with milk or cream and topped with fruit.
Sounds good.
It is. Quaker puffed wheat and Quaker puffed rice are shot from guns to make them crisp and tender. Yes, these king-size premium grains are actually exploded up to 8 times normal size to make them bigger and better tasting. And what's more important, both delicious kinds furnish added food values of restored natural grain amounts of vitamin B1, niacin, and iron.
You mean they're good for you?
You bet. And for variety, you can eat Quaker puffed wheat one day, Quaker puffed rice the next.
Boy, I can hardly wait. 1949 is going to see me trying them.
And fellas and girls, don't you be missing out. In 1949, eat Quaker puffed rice and Quaker puffed wheat. The ready-to-serve breakfast cereal shot from guns. Ask Mom to start the new year off with a breakfast treat that can't be beat. Get next to those big red and blue packages of Quaker puffed rice and Quaker puffed wheat. Now to continue our story. After killing an old prospector and stealing his gold, Jess Steele and Shorty forced Frank Weaver to take his dog sled and go with them toward Selkirk. Early the following morning, Sergeant Preston took King and went as he had promised to deliver Mike's message to the Weavers. He stopped at their cabin.
King. Good morning, Mrs. Weaver.
You're Sergeant Preston.
That's right.
Oh, I know you've come to tell me something has happened to Frank. Please, Sergeant, is it...
Well, just a minute, Mrs. Weaver. I came here to see your husband to bring him a message from the trading post.
But Frank isn't here. He didn't come home last night. I'm so worried I've been almost out of my mind.
Well, I'm sure he's all right, Mrs. Weaver. He was a bit upset, I understand, because Mike Quinn at the trading post refused him credit. But...
Poor Frank, that was his last
But
hope.
Mike changed his mind. I came to tell you and Frank that you can have all the credit you want.
Thank heaven. But Frank, where can he be?
Well, don't worry, I'll try to find him. Perhaps you'd better get your wraps and come to town with me. You could wait at the trading post until I do find him.
Yes, I couldn't stand waiting here any longer. I'll get my things and be with you in a few minutes, Sergeant. Do come in.
Thanks. Monkey,
I won't be a minute.
let me help you with your parka.
Thank you. We ran entirely out of money and supplies.
Oh.
Well, Frank was so terribly upset about it all.
Well, so I heard. When you get to town, Mrs. Quinn will give you breakfast, and then when Frank's found, you and he can get supplies and bring them out here. Oh, Mrs. Weaver, may I have something of your husband's, a glove or something like that?
Well, yes, of course. Here's a glove of his. But
Well, just in case I have to trail Frank, King can get the scent from this glove. Now, we'd better get started. Come along, fella. You'll be warm enough under the blankets on the sled. Here, let me help you.
You're so very kind. Thank you.
Now, try not to worry. I'm sure everything will be all right. Up front, King. On King! On!
Sergeant Preston took Amy Weaver to the trading post and left her with Mrs. Quinn. Then, leaving his dog team outside, he and King went through town making inquiries about Frank Weaver, but learned nothing. Finally, Preston stopped in at the constable's office.
Hello, Sergeant. Hi there, King.
Good morning, Jim. Do you happen to know a young fellow named Weaver? Has claimed 20 up on Bonanza?
Oh, I've seen him once or twice, Sergeant. Why?
He came to the trading post last night. When he was refused credit, Mike says he looked desperate. And as he went out, said he'd get supplies one way or another. He didn't get home last night.
Oh, that's not so good, is it?
No, it isn't, Jim. I'm worried about him. His wife's quite upset, too. They seem like a fine couple. Frank isn't the sort to do anything out of the way, but when a man's desperate...
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Can't figure out where he might have gone, Jimmy. Oh, I just thought of something.
What?
He was at the trading post last night, and he probably left his dog team out front. I have one of his gloves. King can get the scent from that. And we can go to the trading post and see if King can pick up Weaver's trail.
Say, that's a good idea. I'll come along with you. I'd like to see King in action.
All right, glad to have you. Let's go, Jim. Come on, King.
A short time later, Preston and the constable stood in front of the trading post. Preston held out Frank's glove for King to sniff. Then he spoke a command.
Find him, King. Find him, fella.
As the two Mounties watched, King put his nose to the frozen ground and circled around, trying to find a scent that was similar to the one on the glove. The intelligent dog seemed to know what was expected of him, and he moved in an ever-widening circle. Then suddenly he barked eagerly, ran a short distance, then stopped and looked back, still barking.
He's found Weaver's trail, Jim.
Well, what do you know?
After him, fella. Find him, King. On, King! On!
King headed up the main street. Reaching the cafe, he circled a few times, then started in the direction of the Wolf Creek Trail. Preston and the constable hurriedly followed King with the dog team, and finally approached the old prospector's cabin. King had stopped there in seeming puzzlement. Then, as the two men came along with a sled, the great dog turned toward the cabin and sniffed at the door.
King started past this cabin at first, but now he's sniffing at the door.
Yeah. What do you make of that?
Well, I'd say that Weaver went on up the trail, but that he stopped here at this cabin first. I'll go in and ask about him. Come on.
Doesn't seem to be anyone inside, Sergeant.
We'll take a look anyhow. Jim, look there on the floor.
What? This is an old prospector named Nason. He was said to have quite a bit of gold here in this cabin. Yeah, he's done for, all right. Shot through the heart.
Jim, well, this is something I hadn't even thought of. That Frank Weaver would commit a crime no matter how desperate he became.
He did it, all right. But we can't prove it until we catch him and make him talk.
Feel sorry for his wife. A terrific blow to her.
Yeah, I guess it will at that.
Look, Jim, you better go back to town, take my dog team and sled, and carry back Nason's body.
All right, Sergeant.
Now, don't say anything to anyone about our suspecting Frank Weaver. He and I will follow his trail until we get him and bring him back. Come on, fella.
All during the night and most of the following morning, Steele and Shorty forced Frank Weaver to mush steadily over the frozen trail that led to Selkirk. Frank carried no gun, and he racked his brain to think of a way out of his predicament. But the two killers were constantly on the alert, and one or the other was always behind him with a gun ready for instant use. Finally, they reached a deserted cabin on the side of the trail and stopped to warm up and rest. It was late afternoon when they made preparations to hit the trail again.
Good thing we found that dried venison someone had cached in here, Shorty. We'll take what's left of it along with us.
Yeah, we'll need it before we reach Selkirk.
Look, Steele. You've got this far. Why not take my dog team and let me make my way back alone? My wife's there waiting for me. By the time I get back to Dawson, you can be far away.
Hey, you hear that, Shorty? Weaver wants us to let him go back and tell the Mountie what he knows.
Yeah, that's a hot one, Jess.
But all you have is that small supply of dried venison. It won't be enough for the two of you, much less for three. Selkirk's still a long way from here. What's more, the dogs will need some food, too, or they'll give out.
Hey, something to what you say, all right.
And you won't make me go on with you?
No, I guess we won't.
What's come over you, Jess? The Mounties will be looking for Weaver when they find that prospector. But if he gets back to telling the truth...
Who said he was going to get back? I'm not that crazy.
But you just said...
I said I decided not to take you along with us. In other words, dead men tell no tales, Weaver.
Oh, now I get what you mean, Jess.
Look, let me go. I promise not to say a word. Think of my wife.
You can think of it till Shorty gets the venison ready to pack on the sled. After that, you won't do any thinking. Or talking.
I'll take the venison out of the sled right now.
Oh, look. If you shoot me, it'll be cold-blooded murder. I don't carry a gun.
Save your whining until Shorty gets back inside. He'll enjoy it.
Hey, Jess, hold it. Somebody coming along the trail. Looks like a Mountie to me.
A Mountie? We'll have to do some fast thinking. Shorty, when he gets here, you answer the door, see what he says. I'll stand back here and have the gun pointed right at the door. If he comes in, I'll let him have it.
All right. It's too bad we only got one gun between us.
One's enough, don't worry. Now, Weaver, stand over there to one side so he won't see you when Shorty opens the door away. Get over there.
All right.
Now let him come on. We'll leave 2 of them behind when we set out for Selkirk.
Meanwhile, Sergeant Preston, with King running just ahead of him, approached the cabin. He saw the dog team waiting out front, and taking his gun in his hand, he approached as he saw King sniff his way right to the door.
Oh, hello. I didn't expect to see a Mountie.
You live here?
I sure do.
I suppose that's your dog team.
Well, yeah. Just getting ready to go after more supplies.
I'm looking for a young man with the name of Frank Weaver. Tall, rather dark. You seen him?
No, can't say I have. Nobody's been by here for several days.
You lie, mister. Weaver
What?
did come by here, and he entered this cabin.
Now, if that's the way you feel about it, why don't you come in and have a look?
I think I will. Step aside.
Look out, Sergeant. Look out, get him. No, you won't. Oh, now, get that Mountie.
Even as Frank Weaver, jumping in front of Jeff Steele's gun, shot the first bullet intended for Preston, the great dog King, without waiting for a command, lunged forward. And as Steele raised his gun for another shot, grabbed the killer by the arm and dragged him to the floor.
I'll get you, Mountie.
At the same moment, Shorty grabbed for Sergeant Preston's gun arm, but Preston, twisting aside, lashed out with a smashing blow to the jaw.
No, you don't.
You killed me. Get him away.
Come, King. Easy, fella. Watch them, boy.
They planned to kill you as you came in. Then they were going to kill me.
You took the bullet meant for me, Weaver. I'll fix that up. Just at your right shoulder.
They killed an old prospector. Made me come with them.
He lies. The whole thing was his idea.
I'll take all 3 of you back to Dawson City. After we get there, I'm sure we can find out the truth about everything.
Putting Frank on the sled, Preston handcuffed the other 2 together and started back to Dawson. The next afternoon, after a long session in the constable's office, Preston, with King and Frank, entered the trading post.
Frank! Oh, Frank, is everything all right?
Yes, Amy.
We finally got the truth from the 2 killers, Mrs. Weaver. I'm glad to say Frank's been exonerated.
Thank heaven I knew he wasn't guilty.
I felt sure of that, too, when he took the bullet intended for me. If he had been guilty, he wouldn't have done that.
Sure, it was a mighty fine thing for him to do that, it was. Did you tell him the news, Sergeant?
What?
Yes, Mr. Quinn, he did. I feel sure I'll make good at the claim.
I heard something else today that makes me think you will, my lad. 2 claims right next to yours have struck it rich.
What? Amy, did you hear that?
And with yours in the middle of both of them, you can be sure there's gold there.
Oh, isn't it wonderful, Frank?
It sure is. You know, King's fast action at that cabin sure saved the day. You'd have had your hands full with the 2 of them, Sergeant.
Oh, he's certainly a wonderful dog. To think because of him, Sergeant Preston was able to trail you and reach you in time.
Did you hear that, boy?
That he does. Sitting there with his ears perked up and sort of grinning like.
King's happy, all right, Mike. You see, he knows the case is closed.
In just a moment, Sergeant Preston will give you a preview of Monday's program. Well, sir, fellows and girls, tomorrow is the first day of a new year. And right here is someone who wants to say something to each and every one of you. Here is Sergeant Preston himself. And naturally, I don't have to tell you that King is here, too, right beside him.
Fellows and girls, King and I want to wish you a happy new year. May the coming year be the finest, the happiest ever for you and your family. How about it, King? That's King's way of saying for the both of us, Happy New Year.
And Sergeant Preston, that goes for me and all of us here. And for the Quaker Oats Company, makers of Quaker puffed wheat and Quaker puffed rice. Yes, from all of us, a Happy New Year to one and all. These radio dramas, a feature of the Challenge of the Yukon Incorporated, are created and produced by George W. Trendle, directed by Fred Flowerday, and supervised by Charles D. Livingston. The part of Sergeant Preston is played by Paul Sutton. They are brought to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at this same time by Quaker puffed wheat and Quaker puffed rice, the breakfast cereal shot from guns. Listen Monday when Sergeant Preston and Yukon King meet the Challenge of the Yukon in the adventure King Takes Over.
This was one time I regretted having strong, fast dogs. You see, a couple of killers who broke out of jail stole my sled and dog team to make their getaway. This was a mighty thrilling chase. The speed of my own dogs almost spelled disaster for me.
Be sure to hear this exciting story Monday. Till then, this is J. Michael wishing you goodbye, good luck, and good health from Quaker Puffed Wheat and Quaker Puffed Rice. So long. For a delicious hot breakfast, eat Quaker Oats.
The giant of the cereals is Quaker Oats. Yes, the giant of the cereals is Quaker Oats.
Delicious, nutritious, makes you feel ambitious.
The giant of the cereals is Quaker Oats.
Say, boys and girls, you want to be a star someday in sports and activities? Then start on good Quaker Oats breakfast tomorrow. Because nourishing oatmeal gives you more growth and endurance than any other whole grain cereal. Still less than 1 penny a serving. Quaker and Mother's Oats are the same. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting